SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network, link 346. I'm your host, Spencer. It's not my birthday, but I'm gonna cry if I want to anyways, Presley. And joining me is the entire voice cast of Raidou 2, Electric Boogaloo, Marshall Mathers.
How's it going, guys?
Did you put on a more somber impression for that "How's it going, guys" on purpose just because I said that? Was that your voice? Was that your Marsh voice actor impression?
I slip into this tone when I have to voice act. Yeah, that was what I was doing.
I'm waiting for someone who's I want someone who finds you through this podcast to then go to your video and be like, "Where did the guy from the podcast go?" To be it's they're two different Marshes.
I sound so different in those videos, and people will comment. People comment all the time now, why do you sound different? I don't know, I got older and started working. My soul's gone. I don't know what to say.
That's why we got to do the live show this year. This year or next year, we got to do a live show so then people can really have it be even more jarring.
It'll sound even more different. 3 different voices.
Yeah, because it'll be like that. One of the funny things, I feel like people don't do this as much anymore, but remember when YouTubers would go to conventions and be like, "All right, guys, thanks for coming to my panel. Here's an episode only for you guys. You guys get this a whole month early." I feel like people don't do it anymore.
I don't think so. I've heard people doing exclusive a live podcast or something maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
But I can you imagine all right, guys, if you go to I don't know, fucking Anime Expo 2025, only there will that crowd get to watch Marsh in the exclusive video of you talking all about Deep Strange Journey.
Yeah, the one time where you probably wouldn't want it to be 3 hours long. I don't really want to sit in the convention hall.
No, it'll be a 30-minute video. It's a very short video.
Oh, okay, it's back to how I used to do it. Okay, that works.
You're doing live editing on the fly, we just hooked you up to a 3DS capture card, and you're just actually live playing in front of the crowd. Where's the English dub? This game sucks ass.
This game sucks ass, guys. Am I right? Anyway, see you next time.
Oh my god, man, that panel practically writes itself already.
Yeah, that's half the panel already. Might as well do it.
So, Marsh, last time you were on, you absolutely shattered your foot into 9 million pieces, and no major political drama has happened since.
Yeah, it's weird. It's you were the first I found out through you that it happened again. What?
When I told my wife, she was working that day, I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, did you hear that this happened?" And she thought I was joking, and I'm like, we can't be at that point as a society where you think nah, nah, man, that ain't real.
It's so weird. It feels like no time has passed at all. I spent a month in the house. I didn't really fine, but I don't know. And I
Did you miss driving?
I was gonna get into that. It's I think last time I mentioned this, but just knowing that you should be able to drive but you can't sucks. So I did miss it. It was weird. But mostly.
Can you believe that was literally 2 months ago?
Yeah, it was almost on the dot. So the day I was in the hospital was 7/13 because I just paid the bill. It finally came.
Oh damn! We talked about that. How was the bill?
It was thousands of dollars. It went down to $200. So it's not too bad.
No, you know what? All right, we don't need to make this into the fucking CNET Money Talk podcast, which was definitely the first 30 minutes of us talking. But let me tell you, I fucking hate how the American healthcare system does that. Of like, well, the original bill was $19,000, but but thanks to your insurance, you only need to pay $300. It's like, fucko, I should I shouldn't have to pay anywhere near that much.
You opened it up. I mean, it's like across the part, like it's somewhere else. I would read some of it just if you're curious of like what the individual quotes are. It's like we IV in you. It's like of your money, please.
Was the ambulance ride under or over $5,000?
I refused it, so I didn't pay it.
Oh, you're right, because you drove that. Yeah, we talked about that. Okay, yeah, those $300 IVs where they get you, man.
The IV's like $1,200, but then that's like it's just like salt water, right? Like saline or something.
It's actually just Clorox, just straight in your face.
I don't know what it was, but it didn't stop it hurting. So I don't know why it's so expensive.
Oh my
it's
god!
Like the expertise, it's completely insane.
Well, are you at least driving now? Do you remember where your first drive was when you were all healed up?
Yeah, it was to the vet. So that's all good.
Did your dog drop a weight on his foot and had to go to the vet?
One of my cats, my dad used to own this cat, so I guess it was like mine too. But now I'm taking care of it. And I didn't know how old he is necessarily. I knew he was old, but he's 12 and a half, and one of his fangs came out, and that shouldn't happen. But when they get old, it does because their teeth go bad. So I just had to get it looked at.
Bro, you gotta stop giving your cat fucking. You gotta stop giving him Nerds gummy clusters, man. That's not good for him.
I feed him the same thing all the time, just like meow mix. So he's just old.
So Mary just recently discovered cat videos. Apparently, her feed has decided.
Just discovered.
They're like, all right. Well, because she's like, she is horrified of pets. She thinks animals are cute, but she's aware that animals can hurt her. So in her brain, she's scared of all animals. Yeah, so
that's interesting.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I was there. Like I basically like had to like do like I had to basically con her into letting us dog sit like a couple of corgis once, and it was really funny because it's like they were the most like docile dogs ever, but it was like she would be so scared of them just like hanging out by your feet when you're in the bathroom. I'm like, bro, there's like he's not gonna bite your ankle off, I promise you. But what was so funny was she got this compilation video on like TikTok last night or something, and it was those videos of cats who full mouth eat dry food, like where they're just like, how much can I dislocate my jaw to like fit this food into my
Those are funny. My cat
that's how a cat like I always like when I see that I just go like that has to just come from overeating, right? Like you've given your like you're the guy who like when you leave for the weekend you don't get a cat sitter, you just leave a pound of food out and your cat just goes to town.
Yeah, those are super funny. My cat will like as soon as I go over to the back, he goes like ape shit. He's like ready to eat. He loves eating the exact same meal like every day for 12 years.
There's like another video out there. There's like some dude who had to like he has two cats, but they will always try to steal each other's food, so he basically has to like come up with these like super elaborate like traps to hide one cat without stealing the other one's food.
I'd have to like lock them in separate rooms or something. That's a pain.
Yeah, no, like yeah, basically, but like they're like Rube Goldberg machines with like glass tubes and stuff. Like he gets very elaborate.
We have some fun with it.
Oh man, I wish I had a cat. Cats are weird. They're fucking weird pets, but they're cool.
My cat, when he was younger, like he used to be like, I don't know, like moody. I guess cats are. But now that he's old, he's like he wants to like be around you, and like it's almost like too easy to take care of him. It's really weird. Like all you have to do is like fill a bowl basically, and like clean the litter. I don't know. It's like
you've got like the bodega cat now.
The bodega. What is that? Like hold on. I know what it is. It's just late.
So, like, for anyone out there, like, bodega cats are like a spinal cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you have those cats who just are like, people don't matter to me. I enjoy being around them. I don't need to be an outside cat. Inside is safe. I get free pets and food. I don't gotta worry about shit.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You should, if you want to get a cat, adopt a cat that's like 10 or something.
Oh yeah, old cats are the best.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get them, like, preferably not like sickly and full of cancer and gonna die soon.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
because let me tell you, I'm sure you found out. We bitched about human bills, man. Fucking vet bills are where they get you.
I could speak on that. It's extremely expensive for cats to have their teeth looked at, messed with. It's so expensive. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I had an old coworker. She ran a shelter for cats and dogs, and it was so funny that like the amount of pets that like she would get because they're like, well, he doesn't. He's fine. Might have cancer, but we won't know unless I pay $30,000 to find out if his dog's cancer. But I can't afford it, so I'm just gonna let him hopefully live his best life, not in debt for finding out if the dog had cancer.
Yeah, like they offered to do like a scan because if one of his teeth came out, right, and the other ones are probably not great, but just the scan is like a few hundred, and then if they no, I mean it's 1,000, it's 900.
For the scan?
Yeah, and then if they take him out, it's like
Was it a CAT scan?
I don't know what it would be called. I guess it's an
I
X-ray.
couldn't. I couldn't not make
was
that
good.
joke. I'm
That
sorry.
was good.
So how's the cat though now? Are they like one fanged up? Like what's going on with them?
Oh, he's good. I mean, it came out, and that's just it. They gave him like an antibiotic shot. So I mean, I guess if more come out, I'll take the scan like more seriously, right, and get some kind of operation done.
Did you keep it at least? Like, did you keep the other tooth that came out?
I have it. Yeah,
We'll just make a necklace as like they keep falling out. We'll just get like a
a
cat
giant
necklace.
necklace, like shark teeth. Yeah, they're big. They're really big.
Well, so besides playing the adulting game the last 2 months, what have you been up to, man? You've been working on any videos, playing some stuff, corporate buyouts. What's the Marsh lore?
Right now, I'm working on another RPG Maker one. I just need to record like the script. It's so hard to do that after work. Not to go back into adult stuff, but I'm working on another like a horror video, and then I played some of the Answer or episode Aigis. I've been playing Mech Warrior 5.
Hey,
That's a good game.
nice.
Never tried it. Pretty crazy.
Warrior, very underrated series. There's a lot of fun stuff there.
It's really good on PC if you like throw a few mods in. Super like immersive, like the cockpit view and stuff. You want to like turn the lights off and play this game, it's super fun.
Oh my god, you know what I gotta ask you that you've been doing since our last episode? You finally fucking dusted off of your Vita. Started playing some shit on your Vita.
Oh, okay. I completely forgot. Yeah, I've been playing so much. I've actually been playing a lot of. So I'm playing Mech Warrior. I've been playing XCOM. I played through the first XCOM again. And XCOM
Did you
2.
know XCOM and Enemy Unknown got ported to the Vita?
I do. I found that out, and it's completely insane. Yeah.
Dude, check that out, and there's also Civ Rev 2. Do you remember Civilization Revolution, like the 360
Yeah, I have it on
game?
360. I used to love it.
Civ Rev 2, just as good, and it only came out on phones and Vita.
I'll have to download it. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of stuff. I played Aria of Sorrow. I don't know how you say it, but I played that. I loved it.
It's a Rye of Sorrow now.
Is it not Aria? I think that sounds better.
Aria of
Aria
Sorrow.
of Sorrow. I've never heard anybody say it out loud. That was an awesome game. Like I could go into that for a minute. So that was like a perfect game to me, and I beat it in 2 days, which is unprecedented because I will normally stretch anything out as long as possible. That's just like how I work for some reason. 2 days, beat it, the whole thing, like the real ending and everything. Loved it.
I love Aria of Sorrow. Is like, I think the Game Boy Advance games for Castlevania get a little too overblown in terms of how good they were. Like, they're good, but Aria is like the really only one that's
really,
like,
really
you
good.
gotta play
Yeah.
it. That, especially the DS collection just finally came out, you've got to play those because Dawn of Sorrow I like even more, and they just keep getting better. Like, Portrait of Ruin is also amazing. It's a World War II setting Castlevania game, and then Order of Ecclesia is like hard as balls, but like got probably like the best art style and music the series ever had, which sucks because it basically died after that.
Yeah, it just came out. Like I picked it up. I sort of like the only thing I played in Castlevania is like Simon's Quest, which is funny, but I don't know
So,
anything about it,
what was
so
it?
like I wasn't paying attention to it.
Order of Ecclesia actually plays more like Simon's Quest than a Symphony of the Night. Aria, Dawn, and Portrait definitely play more like a Symphony of the Night like.
Hmm.
Whereas that's the interesting thing about Order of Ecclesia. It's like a mission based game where you like go back to town, like do quests, and like bring villagers back. It's very weird.
It sounds cool though. I like Simon's Quest, so I was like, I wonder if I like Aria of Sorrow, and I loved it. It's super good.
Hmm.
Um, what else? I played a little bit of what's the other game called? It's one of the other Game Boy. It might be Harmony of Dissonance. I played a little bit of that.
Harmony, yes, because there's also another one that like there's like the XBLA Castlevania game I was talking about that has a similar one with it. That one's like Harmony of Dissonance is fine. I'm trying to remember if that was the launch. There's a GBA Castlevania game that was a launch game, and the funniest thing about it was so dark. And remember, the old GBA screens had no backlit screen. You literally, it was impossible to beat it.
I think that one's called. I forget what it's called.
Oh, that one, Circle of the Moon.
Circle of the
Circle
Moon.
of the Moon,
Yeah.
yeah, Circle of the Moon was the launch game, and if you ever try to play that like without a backlit screen, like you should look up like screenshots of what it looked like on like people's launch GBAs. It was fucking impossible.
That's rough.
Yeah, Harmony of Dissonance is sick. I remember the cover art for that one is really really cool.
It's super fun, and like I'm playing these all on the Vita, so like that's like I think it's like the best way to play it. Like it just feels natural. I don't know. You have a bigger screen. It feels good.
Oh, dude,
Maybe the Switch. But
there's a lot of really good Metroidvanias like that. If you're enjoying stuff like that, like there's so many good games that you can like play on there for it too.
I I like fell in love with that system because I finally just I turned it back on and I like hacked it and all that stuff so you can download whatever you need to download. You can play RPG Maker games on it. I did that for a minute. It
Oh
was
yeah,
just fun.
RPG Maker plays really really well in it too. I guess unsurprisingly.
Yeah, it's like the best handheld. I mean, I'm sure there's better stuff like Steam Deck or something, but just like a little thing to pull out.
But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like thinking about like the price, you're getting an OLED screen. It still holds up. Like especially once they hacked it so that you could do like a SD card for the Vita cartridge and stuff. Like once the memory problem got fixed for a lot of people, that pretty much made it of like yeah, this is kind of like the de facto thing. Like how for so many years like that was the PSP for people. Like people were like yeah, dude, the PSP was just a giant emulating machine. But because it still kind of lacked a little bit of power or lacked like the other analog stick, it made it harder for like playing other things. Like I still to this day like I get mad when I think about the fact that I can't play some PS5 games on my Vita because like for most of the PS4 I probably played most big budget RPGs on the Vita. Like 13 Sentinels even though like that's not really an RPG, I played 100% of that game on remote play. Because
Really?
it
Yeah.
just played better for it. And I mean, the game was literally made for the Vita and PS4, you could tell. But it was just one of those funny things of like, I remember even playing original Persona 5. Like, I played that on my Vita more than anything. I played Final Fantasy 14 on my Vita more than my PS4. So like, when they took that away for PS5 streaming just because it wasn't supported anymore, it was kind of like, fuck. But ironically, the PlayStation Portal, you would think, oh, well, maybe Spencer would want that though. Like, if it's just a remote play device, I don't want it because it's the fact that like I can play the big budget games streamed to my device when I get home, but then I also know that if I want, I can just download Castlevania or play whatever on the go without an internet connection.
Exactly. That's why I like it. It's just like you don't need a connection. There's there's weird stuff on there too. Like if you go on like the hacked like pirate store that shows like every game ever made, you can download it. There's like you can download like some kind of Yakuza Zero like companion app that just straight up has all the mini games from Yakuza Zero. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
there's
they did it for that, and they did it for Ishin too.
there's bizarre stuff on there. So you can basically play everything in Yakuza Zero on your Vita except the main game. Like you can play like the casinos and like the whatever, all the different mini games.
Yeah, you can do the fighting too. Like it's really funny. Like they put a lot into it, which is extra wild when you realize like when those were made available, those were free. Like it was just free companion games.
Yeah. Oh, what else did I play on there?
A
Mm,
weird one, if you've never checked it out, especially if you've never played it before, there is a wild, wild port of Night Trap to the Vita.
is that like a game for like the 3DO or something?
Night Trap was I'm surprised you don't remember this one. Night Trap was that Sega
Oh,
CD
it's
game.
Sega CD. I thought it was
Yeah,
3DO.
that was
I know what this is.
it might I think there may have been a 3DO port. It was ported to a lot of stuff. But the Vita version is like it's a port of the PS4 version, but they had to make so many cuts to make it run. It's like really funny. It's the best portable way to play it because like they had to like make it their own thing, but like it was so riddled with bugs at first. Like you literally couldn't even beat it till they patched it, like on a physical card. Like it was barely running, but it was like made by one dude. So
Wow.
it was one of those games that like I'm just glad got made, even though I know like it's far from perfect.
I'll have to try it. I mean, I'm sure it's on there. You can just like search anything and it just pops up. It's weird. You can just download any game you want.
Also, you are correct. Night Trap did come out on the 3DO in 1994.
I don't know why I knew that, but there you
Big 3DO fan over
go.
here. Your second favorite system is the Philips CDI.
I want one of those so bad.
Dude, what do you mean? Like they're not. I see. I'm gonna say this. If the Philips CDI is expensive, I'm gonna be so upset about retro gaming.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
What? How much is the Philips CDI?
a lot.
Holy ass! I
A lot
just
of
went to
money.
eBay. Jesus Christ! Um, that's way more than I thought it would be. Because there's different versions of it, but it's averaging around. You can get them kind of cheap, but not the good ones. Like a good one's gonna run you about $200 to $300.
Yeah, but then
That's
look up
wild.
like how much the games cost.
Oh no, the game. Well, I mean, but like you can just burn them. Like
Okay,
no
true. Yeah.
one's no one like it's like hey, is that a
Did you
legit
buy
is
that?
that a legit
Legit?
CDI
Yeah.
game? Yeah, it's like anytime I see a copy of Snatcher on Sega CD, I literally just assume it's a bootleg copy because I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like why would you pay $3,000 for this when you could just literally CDR it?
I think it's so rare. Like I've never seen it in person. I don't think I saw it at a convention. I played it at a convention. I've
CDI?
never seen one at like a store or something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've just come across it more through like going to random video game like conventions and stuff. Like I've even seen that guy who bought the Nintendo PlayStation prototype. Do you remember when that got found a couple years ago?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So I forget the name of the it was a guy and his dad, like they got it and then they found some like tech YouTuber actually like got it working, and it's so funny playing it because it is literally just a Super Nintendo with a disc drive at the bottom. So it's like you don't play PlayStation games on it, you just play Super Nintendo games, but it's very funny that it works.
I went to a con recently and they had like it was off topic. I'm just thinking of like weird con. They had like Doom like running on like a flashlight.
Hell yeah, dude! Have you seen Doom running on a birth control test?
I
Not
have
birth
seen
control
that.
test, a pregnancy
A pregnancy
test.
test, yeah. I
Hmm.
that's the only place
I
I've
forget
seen
if we
it.
talked about. Are you a Doom guy or not really?
Um, I mean, I like Doom. I played the first. Yeah, I mean, I played almost all of them. I haven't played Eternal yet. I played almost all of
The
them.
new the new port for Doom 1 and 2 they did really really good. If you have Doom at all, like either 1 or 2, it's free and it's really really good. And the best part is they are putting out a patched version of the Super Nintendo version that is actually running not like hot shit. It's like they made like a good version of it running on native Super Nintendo hardware.
Does it have like a new Steam page, or is it just like the old one got
Hmm.
updated or something?
No, so it's a well, it should. I'm not sure how Steam works. I think it actually just took over the old one. Let me check. It might be called Doom 1 plus 2 on Steam, but I know if you own any of them, you get both for free because they're the same executable.
Judging by the screenshots, like it looks like super high quality. Like they did something
Yeah.
to it.
Okay, so yeah, it is called Doom 1 and 2, but yeah, if you own any of them, like even if a GOG code or whatever, like if you, I mean, again, they're fucking. What is it? Yeah, it's $10 for both.
Yeah.
It's $10 for both. It's like there's no reason not to own it. But I was messing around with that recently, and I was like, damn man, world's least surprising take of all time.
It's good.
Doom is still really fucking fun.
I do like Doom. I even like Doom 3. That was one of my first ones.
Underrated, man. I was very late to Doom 3 though. I was not like I didn't have an Xbox original Xbox, so I couldn't play it till what was it the BFG edition? Way later.
I have the original Xbox Steelbook, and I got it when I was really young. It's like evil looking. It's an evil game.
Oh, it looks awful. That steelbook looks so cursed, dude. That era for steelbooks, like it's so funny. Like if I ever go to like game stores, like Mary will pull it off. Like a really common one I find that people are always like, "Why do you not own this?" And like I know I should own it, but I'm like it looks so bad to me. Like I don't even own it. Like I find a lot Resident Evil, Metal Gear, was it Resident Evil 4 specifically? Metal Gear Solid 3 and Final Fantasy 12. I find those steelbooks all the time, but because they were printed, and Xbox was the same way with like Halo 2 and Doom, like they were printed with the Xbox logo on the box. I'm like, I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's not as good. It's not just the art. Yeah.
But yeah, man, Doom has been fun. I'm like so ashamed. I mean, obviously it's been multiple more months, but I have played nothing but episode Aigis. Like probably it's been out for. It has been out for 1 week and 1 day as of this recording, and I've
How many
played
hours?
nothing but that. I'm 20. I think I'm basically right under 30.
Well, so I'm like really close to the start still, but like I've beaten the Fest version, but I think it's pretty solid so far. I
Oh no,
posted
I
about
was.
it, the original's not my favorite. That's all I want to say, but I like this version.
It's kind of funny because like the discourse kind of got brought back up again with this game, especially people talking about like, oh, is it like a soulless remake or whatever with it? But I'm like, man, if you look at Persona 3 Reload and you think it's a soulless remake, like man, there are way worse remakes out there. You people got to play.
I saw that discourse and like I get it because like the old game like had like this like crust to it, and like the cutscenes were a little bit, I mean, a lot of it different. They're a little bit more like artistic, you could argue, but it's like if I flash back to when I was like whatever, like 15 or whatever when I played it, and you told me like, oh, they're gonna remake this, you can play it on PC, like I'd shit myself. So I can't act like I'm not like excited by it. Like it's really good.
Yeah, and like honestly, I the biggest shock for the answer with me has been it's felt as high quality as the base game, because like one of my biggest things, especially playing the answer originally, is like you can tell that they fucking slapdash that thing together.
It's a cheap
game.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, there's a lot of stuff to it, and I definitely do have like some kind of complaints that I can levy at it as well. Like I like the new added story elements they add in the remake to the answer. My only weird gripe with it is everything they added, almost none of it is voiced. And there's so little added in the grand scheme of things. I'm kind of like, those little social link element moments, like when you find an item in the dungeon and bring it back, I'm like, why aren't those voiced? Like, those are, like, they're all really fun. There's not a ton of them. Like, there's just enough with all the different team members that I'm like, this would hit a lot more if these were actually all voice acted. Because all the other voice acting in the game, especially the flashbacks, like, man, they're fucking good. Like, the flashbacks especially are really, really solid.
Yeah, I've only played like the first block or whatever, like Mel Bulge, whatever.
Yeah, so you've seen what, Kin's flashback, right?
Yeah, yep. But it's been fun. I like the gameplay. The gameplay was like, the gameplay in the original is good, but I guess it gets like kind of stale. I think it's like they just make it more fun in this one.
I will say this. I went back and saw some videos of people just straight playing the answer, and it's so funny. One of the top comments I saw on so many videos, what do you think the biggest complaint people had about the answer back in the day?
Like you miss all the attacks, right?
No. I was shocked. I wasn't sure what I was going to see. So many videos I would watch, like from like 13 plus years ago. Everyone is like, "Where is the fucking compendium? Why is there no compendium in the whole fucking?" And I'm like, dude, that is such a good point. I forgot that's not in there because that's such a Why wouldn't there be a compendium?
They just do it to mess with you. I always took it as like, it's like a hardcore. It's like a hardcore expansion. Like I feel like most people, if you're into like Persona for the social stuff, like you probably wouldn't even like it. Like it's kind of different. It's definitely like trying to test you a little bit. Because like I said, you
One
miss
hundred
all the
percent.
attacks and like I think the original is like
It's
just harder in general. I don't know.
it's well, I mean, what would you say? The answer is what 85% gameplay, maybe 15% story, and that's like being generous. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot of dungeon time, but like I loved grinding in Tartarus, and this is just more stuff to grind and more like places to discover. That like I thought that was fine, but no, like that's a good point because like when a lot of press went and did preview coverage of it like a month ago, the big complaint was well, not a big complaint. The big worry was, oh well, where's all the social link stuff? And I'm like, bro, there's none.
It's
Like
not in
it
there.
is,
Yeah.
you're gonna be in a dungeon. You're gonna fight two sets of bosses, and that's gonna take you about 4 to 5 hours, and then you'll maybe get a cutscene.
And you'll do it again.
Maybe.
Yeah. It pays off at the back like five, not 5 hours, like 2 hours. But like the last kind of few moments of that are really
There's a
fun.
lot, yeah. There's a lot of story at the end, and I'm glad about like I'm actually the biggest thing I'm kind of shocked about with this in terms of it being a remake. Nothing is cut. Like realistically, like there's some story stuff that's changed in terms of how it's presented, but all the cutscenes that are there, all the animated stuff that's still there, all the boss fights, everything is still there. And because I can remember, like when we talked about this before, I'm like, yeah, man, the answer is like pretty long. Like my thought was, oh, they'll probably trim some of the fat off, like maybe
Yeah,
combine
the
one or two
dungeons.
people's
Yeah.
doors. Yeah, and like I was really shocked to find out. I was like, no, they just kind of stuck to their guns, adapted the answer, but threw in all the quality of life stuff. And the quality of life stuff in Reload was enough for me to kind of find the fun there.
Yeah. What surprised me was that like I'm guessing the other dungeons do this too, but you play like the first few floors and then it changes to like a lab looking place or something. That's all they needed to do. Like that was the problem, was like every floor before looked the same. So hopefully there's more
Yeah,
designs
so
as you keep
there's
going.
more designs. I will say I wish there was like maybe like and again I have one more door left. Like I've seen most of them. They do trickle in new ones as you keep going. I just kind of I wish every door had one more. It's I think the rate it goes at is every two doors will get you a new environment.
Okay. That's nice though.
And like yeah, and there's still that variety there. And like oh, there's one specifically. I won't like give it a spoiler, but like when you see it, there's one that with ray tracing on looks so fucking good. It was like I was so legitimately shocked about how good it looked. I was like, "Oh my god, like this looks so nice."
That's awesome.
So I was glad it had a lot of moments like that with it. What was another one? Kind of talking about the like quality complaint or like the soulless thing with it. Did you get a code for this or did you pick up the expansion pass?
They said I could redeem a code for it, so I did.
Okay. So to the best of your ability, I bought now full disclosure, I bought this all the way back in fucking March,
Yeah.
which by the way, great timing because I definitely would not have been able to afford,
Right
would not
now,
have been
yeah.
able to justify buying this now.
Yeah.
But um, I, as someone who bought it, and you can disagree because I've seen some certain takes with it. I genuinely think that if you beat all of the answer, even by itself, fuck the other DLC it comes with. Like, fuck the other costumes, fuck the other music. Like, legitimately, I don't know how you pay $35 for this and go, it's not worth it. I'm like, dude, it's a whole fucking other game.
It is
It's
like
enough to be its
30
own game.
hours long, so
Yeah.
yeah. I noticed the reviews for it are like extremely negative on Steam. I didn't really read them, but I'm guessing it's price related. They're very
So, for the
negative
expansion pass or episode Aigis?
for the expansion pass. Yeah.
So all of those were all the negative reviews from the last 7 months. Because episode Aigis is its own thing. So let me look up, see what it is on Steam. Because I noticed that as well, that people were review bombing it.
Yeah.
Let me see if you can even open it up as its
I
own. Because it's all still negative.
I will say for anybody
It's
watching,
mostly
like don't I got it for free, so like don't listen to my opinion on the price. Like it doesn't matter.
well, I mean, like, because we even talked about this with Reload back earlier in the year. It's like there were people complaining that they didn't think 70 was a good price for the game. In that
Yeah.
sense with it, and it's kind of
I
like,
think 70
hey,
is fair
I mean,
for the base game.
yeah, everyone's going to have a different kind of thing of what they think is worth it or what not for the price, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
Also, it's one of those ones of like, look at these reviews actually. So like, if you're going to most recent reviews on the expansion pass, all the people saying are like, played it for multiple hours, really enjoying it, really enjoying it. All the negative reviews are like, I paid $100 for the deluxe edition and I still had to pay for it. Like, none of the negative reviews are actually about the game. It's just the expansion pass. Which again, I went into this with Mac last time, but like, but like the whole thing with this, and it's like so funny. Like, it seems like a no duh, but like seriously, if they just called the expansion pass episode Aigis the answer, I feel like less people would be bitching about it. Like, even the price they'd still be there, but like, because they've made it in a forced bundle season pass thing, there are people who are going to be kind of mad with it for it. But it's like, even at $35 full price, I'm having more fun playing this than I have most other full price $40 and up kind of RPGs. And the fact that it's a more concise experience, I actually like more, especially coming off of playing this year I've done Tactica, Reload, SMT5 Vengeance 2 times, and now this. If I was ever going to get RPG burnout, it would be fucking this year.
Yeah, for sure. There's been so much this year.
Oh, damn, fuck, dude, I forgot about Final Fantasy. Dude, not even getting the Platinum, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I've put 110 hours into.
I was looking at that earlier on Steam. I was like, I kind of want to play this, so maybe I'll try it. It's like one of those things that where it's like we'll have time to. That's a lot of time, right?
I think it is, but it's like, it's that thing of like, you can bum rush through Rebirth.
Yeah.
Like, you can just, like, poop socket and do the story, and even that'll still be, like, 40 hours. But the thing is, the open world is so good, you're, like, it's almost like you're missing out on the game at that point. It's like, okay, well, why am I not experiencing all of it, you know?
It looks fun. And then, then there's Metaphor, so...
Holy fuck, dude. That's, like, less than a month away.
I just clicked over the Steam page because I got, like, suggested because I was on Reload. And I was like, yeah, this is October 11th. Pretty soon.
It is wild that I know that there are people playing that game right now.
Like it leaked or something?
No, thank God, no. They had review code ready. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say this. There's some funny things about Metaphor. Metaphor let you preload because the game's been gold for a while. Like, it's completely done. They'll like a day one patch and stuff. But like, I've been saying this for a while, and like, I don't know how people just forgot that this was a review, but they saw in the game code that Metaphor is being made with the Catherine engine.
Okay.
Like, straight up the 2011 Catherine engine. So like, we knew that was the case for the longest time, which is why, like, when we saw Metaphor like at the reveal trailer and it was looking chunky, my first thing was like, is this we're fucking running off a 3 engine right now? It's like,
it looked awesome though in the screenshots.
No, it's looked a lot better since the reveal last year, like, especially presentation-wise. But, like, it's so funny. Like, dude, I can't think of... Like, even Bethesda fucking moved on. Like, this is literally... Like, this is an engine that came out before Skyrim. And they're using this engine on Metaphor.
It is pretty weird. I wouldn't be able to tell, personally. It looks like Persona 5's engine.
Well, that is Persona 5's
it's all the same engine?
That's the Catherine engine.
My bad. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what it looks like then. I can't tell then. They're all the same engine.
Fuck, man. How is that next month? That's insane.
I'm getting excited now. Like, I kind of didn't look at it at all, but now that it's like actually like tangibly close, I'm starting like, yeah, like this looks good.
I've been excited. There was an interesting rhetoric of like people talking recently, like, oh, why are people not more excited about Metaphor? And I'm like, I think people are excited. It's just like there's just a lot of games currently coming out. And like the funny thing is too, did you like see like I feel like anytime a game comes out, you have to be on one side or the other of the rhetoric. Oh my God, look at the Steam player numbers. The game's totally fucking dead. Or oh my God, look, it's the most fucking played game in the last 24 hours. Like, you either are the best game or the worst game. Like, you're either a Black Myth Wukong or a Concord. There's no in between.
I hate the numbers thing for single player games. It just doesn't matter.
Dude, I fucking know. Like, so Final Fantasy is a great example because that just came out yesterday, and people were like, "Oh my god, it only has 27,000 concurrent players." I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty fucking good for a single-player RPG that released a year and a half ago."
Yeah, like that's not bad at all. I don't look at those. Like I look at games now, like the first Dragon's Dogma still has like 400 people that play it. I'm like, that's a lot.
Wild numbers. You should check out, like, obviously Helldivers 2 is a big one. Dude, Helldivers 1 still has multiple thousands of people playing it every day. Those are some fucking ride or die people.
I don't even remember. It's like a top-down shooter, right? It's like super old.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's neat.
So, people were poo-pooing episode Aigis. They're like, oh my god, nobody's talking about it, blah, blah, blah. Like, episode Aigis is so dead. And I'm like, just because Atlus didn't come out and say it sold 1 million copies doesn't mean it's dead. But I will say, I did do some research. So I looked at player data based on how many copies have been sold worldwide versus achievement data on the actual official servers. Because, like, most sites will say X amount of players got this achievement and things like that.
Yeah.
If you look at the average, achievement unlock for like the first trophy is basically just like start the game for the answer. If you look at that, most consoles sitting at around 5 to 10% completion rate for that DLC. And this is a game that sold 7 months ago over 3 million copies.
It's a good bit.
Which is even if it didn't sell a single copy more after 3 million, 10% of 3 million is a lot of fucking copies.
Yeah, I mean, what, it's 300,000, right?
Yeah, and think about that, $35 at 300,000.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Made a good bit of
So
money.
it's like, I think they're completely fine with how it's sold. That being said, I'm assuming, Marsh, you're not a DLC, you're probably not a trophy or achievement guy, are you?
On RPGs, no, but maybe on like a short game, like a Hotline Miami or something. Yeah.
Have you looked at the achievement list for the answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
They suck. Those trophies fucking suck. I said that even on my stream, because I streamed it like the minute it came out. I said, Sega, I know one of you are listening to me. These trophies, the amateur. The, like, fucking 8 bronzes and 1 gold. Like, there's no Super
yeah.
Boss trophy. Literally, like, they went through the trouble of making a really hard Super Boss, and there's no trophy for beating it. There's no optional side missions. Like, there's no trophy for doing any of Elizabeth's quests. There's no trophy for, like, any form of difficulty or anything. It's literally just get everyone's door, watch their flashbacks, and beat the game. That's it.
That's unfortunate. There's not a Super Boss trophy.
Dude, there's not even a Super Boss trophy for Elizabeth. That's what I thought was even more wild in the base game. I thought that was fucking outrageous.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. At least one.
You know what's wild? They haven't had a Super Boss trophy since, I think, P5. Because even Persona 5 Royal, there's not even a Super Boss trophy for either Jose or the twins.
It's so weird. Like, especially for this game, though, because that's like the one, like, truly
It's challenging.
and it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, like, this is a... like, that's the funny thing, too, because, like, I hadn't played the answer in literally 16 years. And so it had been a really, really long time. And I forgot, like, while I was in that base dungeon, I was like, oh, maybe I'm a little bit rusty. And I was like, no, dude, fuck, dude. I just forgot. This game's fucking hard.
It's pretty tough. Even though I played it on normal, and I was just noticing, like, the attacks still, like, miss a lot. I keep saying that, but it's, like, iconic to me that your attacks just miss constantly in the answer. And they still do, so they didn't take it out.
Well, and also a lot of, like, straight up, I feel like a lot of enemies have evade skills.
They do, yeah, yeah. I like that they kept that.
No, and I mean, I also like it, because, like, it's one of those funny things, like, yeah, I can see some people being like, oh, I just want it to be, like, a casual thing, but this kind of goes back to the whole lack of social link stuff, where, like, if there was just gameplay and there was no pushback, it wouldn't really be fun. Like, one of my favorite things they added in this is the monad doors, that you can now kind of pick your difficulty on them. Like, I love that you can be like, I've never picked one of those 3 doors and not picked the hardest boss fight. Because I love that dopamine rush of beating all 3 bosses one after another, and then getting that treasure room full of stuff.
Yeah, that's sick. It's cool that they have that.
Bonus points though for them adding multiple costumes to Metis, and brand new ones. I thought that was really really cool. I'm trying to remember. Did Metis have any costumes in the original one?
No, I'm almost certain that she didn't. I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain.
I'll double check, but the other one as well I wanted to give shout outs to was the music. Like I already liked the music, yeah. But it's good, and there's way more of it than I thought. I would have thought that there was going to be way less music than there actually was.
I liked all the battle themes. They kept of course they kept the most alternate verse, but then there's I don't even know how the song goes when I think about it, but whatever the new yeah,
it's really good. Why it's very weird that that's the name of it.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
How did you feel about the opening? There were some crybabies about that. I could not believe anyone out there did not like that.
The intro, it was good because I do like the original one, but
whoa.
People say it's kind of just it's gameplay.
Bro, that is not even an intro. The original one's a fucking YouTube AMV from 2006. AMV. That is not even an intro. It's not even worth calling it an intro.
I like it. It's just iconic to me because it was my first Persona. But
okay,
I mean this one's actually an intro. So it's
funny too. So many people were like, "Oh, it's so slow." Bro. You can't just keep.
I don't know what you really want from it.
But you can't just complain that because think about all the complaints people had for the base one. It'd be like, oh man, it's just like Persona 5. And all right, here's something completely not Persona 5. Oh man, it's so slow. Where's the dancing mascot characters?
It's if they kept it. Well, they did remake the original one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they kept that in the game. I think people would have complained.
Oh yeah, trust. Literally, they could have had a shot-for-shot 4x3 version of the opening, and people would still be complaining.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, it's an actual intro. So.
How did you feel originally before playing this about Metis versus did the DLC kind of change your mind on her all?
I might be too early. I think. So far where I am, she's almost the same. It might be verbatim the same words, unless I just don't notice, but I think it's almost the same.
Yeah, I think that the sister haters are looking into it a little too much because it's I know that you don't have to. Here's the thing. You're going to hear her say a lot of the same lines if you keep her in your party. You're meant to swap your party around a lot. Although that does kind of go to an interesting note about balance in this game. Because you have everybody, there's almost no time you're ever incentivized to have one character in your party versus another. And I've found myself really having to remind myself, okay, switch my party. Because think about it, you're not ever having to worry about leaving the dungeon and then having to go through school and then go back and everything. You literally, I'm at SP. Okay, I'll either use my skills or I'll just go up to the living room and then come back down.
Yeah. Honestly, I used the same party in the original one the whole time. It was Metis, Akihiko, and Junpei. But they at the very start they force you that you can't use Junpei. So I think I had Yukari instead. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the exact same thing. I like using Metis. I think the Orgia mode's pretty fun.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's nice as well as also shout out to the Energy attacks. Although, when I found out that still half of Aigis' Theurgy attacks are just copy-pasted over the original, I don't know why, I thought the way that they had shown it off made me think that there was going to be more new ones. Unfortunately, there's, I think, 3, and the rest are all the same from the base game. There's some that are exclusive, there's not the Jack Frost and Jack-O-Lantern one, but the ones that are there are fine. There's just not one to be oh my gosh, that's really, really cool. I ironically found myself kind of wishing I could still do, Orgia mode or, her other Theurgy attacks.
Yeah. I kind of like how the Orgia mode worked better in the original. I think it was, she would go 3 separate times or something, and you couldn't control it, but it was really strong. I feel it's different now, right? I've only played it a few hours. She did attack, am I right?
Mm-hmm. So it's one big attack AoE to everybody, and then it's 3 moves of basically computer is on auto mode. Although that being said, you haven't got to it yet. The second theurgy attack that you unlock for Metis is way better. Like way, way, way better.
Okay. Nice. That'll be cool. I like using Metis. I don't know if she's like my favorite character, but she's like nostalgic.
I mean,
guess.
she's fucking fun to play though. Either way, like I like her hammer. I think it should be slice instead of bash because half of those are fucking just axes. I think that should be a slash, but that's just me. But I mean,
Yeah.
even that being said, like the thing about it that's so fun is like she's got ice and what is it? She's got ice and wind, and she's super super AOE heavy for like a lot of attacks. So like she can be really really good in terms of just like covering a ton of space and a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely. My party setup in the original was basically like all damage, like Junpei, Metis, Akiko's pretty tough. I would like never have a healer. I think it was just like I would do it.
Yukari pretty much stays as my healer for most of it, but I do try and swap around a bit. But I think probably pound for pound, I play the most with Yukari, Akihiko, Aigis, and Metis.
It's pretty close to me. Yeah. I never like Ken or water.
No,
I don't know
God,
why.
no, not at all, not at all.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What is it? How do you feel about traversing the dungeon as Aigis, specifically using guns? Like using guns for the breakable objects.
Okay, yeah. So in the original one, weren't there different guns you could use?
Mhm.
Yeah, so like in this one, I'm assuming that's not true.
So you get different guns, but it's always the machine guns when you're exploring the dungeons.
In the original, there was sort of like a like sniper kind of gun. I like the shooting. I watched somebody's review. It might have been Maka. I think he said he didn't like the shooting. I think it's cool.
The shooting is cool. The only problem is when you realize, like, and this is going to just ruin things for people, so I apologize. The problem with the shooting is when you realize you're never actually aiming, and it's just only ever shooting anything that's locked on, it immediately fucks with me. Because, like, if you actually could
Oh,
aim,
okay.
that would be one thing, but you realize, even if you're right next to something, if you're not locked on, you will miss it, even if it's right in front of you. So,
Well, how about if you do a dash attack, right?
so if you do a dash attack, then you do an AOE, and and you'll evolve your ambush move even more. It does help a little bit for two cases. So, and this is super super minor, like gameplay evolutions. Your ambush changes to a more powerful attack that is very much okay. If it hits this hitbox, it will hit it, even if it's not locked in, and that's what it's kind of used for. And then once I had that, I was like, okay, that's fine. But what I found would be annoying was I would be Naruto running all around the floors, and I would feel like I'd have to stop every 5 seconds to get the like breakable objects. And I'm like, oh my god, like because it's so slow. Like, you have to stop, you have to aim, and then you have to get it. And it would just
Yeah,
be,
that's true.
and it would just get to that point where I was like, like it's not annoying enough to ruin anything, but it's like the sword, I could at least be like run slash run slash. Like it didn't matter where you were slashing, as long as you hit it, you knew you were going to get it. That being said, halfway through the game, you do unlock an upgrade to the dash, where literally you just turn into Mario Kart, and if you're dashing, anything around you, it just breaks.
You turn into a car?
No, it's basically that though, because like you get like
That'd
a
be
little,
sick.
you get an AOE around you, and it's just you going, and anything that your bubble hits,
Okay, yeah.
it automatically destroys it.
That does sound nice. It is a lot. It is a lot different if you think about it. Like, because in the original, I mean, you did aim. You did have to. I think I could be full of shit. I remember aiming. I'll say that. I remember it, like you would have to stop and kind of like point yourself in the general direction, and shoot. I thought they had different ranges and everything too. I could be completely making this up. I swear there was like different range guns and everything. There's like a machine gun, and then there's like a cannon you can get in. It's like a single shot. I think it would go farther. It felt different. If it wasn't different, it felt different.
And again, like I said, it's not a thing like it's a deal breaker, but it was one of those funny things that I found myself not liking it at the beginning. but then when I unlocked the new one, it almost made me kind of go like, did you make this less fun on purpose? Like, so that you would get the upgrade and go, all right, this is way better now.
It could be, honestly.
So like,
Yeah.
not a deal breaker, but I just thought kind of interesting either way with it. But I'm really really liking it. My plan is, I think I was trying to beat it like last week, but I'm most likely going to be able to beat it this week, and I want to try and do a video this weekend. I was trying to think if I wanted to do like one big Persona 3 Reload review with the base game and Aigis after like one and with another. But like now that I've been playing, I'm like, dude, these are so different. I feel like I have to make them like a separate thing.
I'd probably separate it if it was me.
Yeah,
It's a lot of stuff to cover.
well, it's a lot to cover, but it was that thing of like in my head, I was like, oh, I'll cover it as like one big complete experience. But I'm like, man, I guess I just really forgot how different like the answer is, like in terms of it just being its own game, you know? Like it's an epilogue. Hold on, I'm choking and dying.
Oh, you're all good.
Like it's an epilogue, but it's not like one of those things like you feel like, oh, right after the ending, I'm going to jump into this. Like it's almost a benefit, I feel like, to those people who, oh, hey, I beat this game 7 months ago, and now I'm jumping back into this.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I mean, when I first played it, it took me like Fest. It took me like 80 hours to beat Fest and like 30 something to beat this. So it's like 110 hours. You know, like I'd probably separate it. It's too much.
The only other thing I can think, unless you have any other thoughts about it, how are you, like, overall kind of enjoying the story?
The story of the answer. I
Hmm?
guess it's fine so far. I mean, there's not much at the beginning. That's a general complaint I have with the originals. It's sort of just like you're being drip fed for a while until you get to the really good part
Hmm.
where you finally get like the glass of water. It finally like formulates. But I love that ending part a lot. I'm excited to see it. But so far, I mean, it's fine. The beginning parts are decent. I actually trying to think. I know people are talking about like kind of like translation stuff, differences. I haven't paid too much attention to that. I don't know if they cared more about the answer than I did, but I haven't like been able to tell yet. I might not be far enough along yet.
The only ones that have really come up there are like the most minor differences of like people being like, "Hey, Yukari said this thing different. Her emotions aren't the same." And then people are like, "No, they if you just keep reading it, just they expand upon it more." That's basically it. Like,
Yeah,
there's nothing that's like changed really. It's just I like how one thing is said versus another. Cause spoilers, they didn't just keep the same fucking script from 18 years ago.
in the original parts, like in the first few parts, like it felt like they did. Are you
Yeah,
saying it's different?
I will say yeah. So in the beginning, it definitely like it feels a little bit more like in the sense of like the story beats are all the same. Like the ways the cutscenes will sound are going to be different, but like at the end of the day, and I mean, I would be very shocked if this changes at the ending. It's like the
Yeah,
dialogue is going to be different, but the way you would write the bullet notes for like the story is going to be the
the
same
same
for
thing.
both of them.
That makes sense. I do like the answer story, but it's just like it's work, I guess, to get to the really good part.
It
Which
is,
is
but
fine.
I almost kind of like feel like, especially now looking into it, it's kind of funny about like how the themes hit a little bit more differently now. Of like, I almost feel like they were trying to work like that concept of like processing or like grief into that like mindless gameplay of like obviously a lot of it is because they were just like, hey, what if we made this 5 hours of story a 30-hour game, like, and that's where a lot of it comes from. But like there are some themes that you can kind of get out of playing it, the repetitive nature of it, especially even when compared to even something like Tartarus. And another reason I would say definitely swap out your party members as much as possible. There's a lot, and while I said I thought it was a negative that there was the whole game is not voiced. All the added stuff that they say when they're in the dungeons there's a lot of surprising story beats that they hide in those. Like, you know, when like it'll have those ones of like you talking like to your party members, like there are
Yeah.
so many things hidden in that, like more than was ever in the original before, that like are very surprising. Like ranging from something like Mitsuru talking about, "Hey, Akihiko, why haven't you been with us the last 3 weeks? We've been inviting you to stuff. Like, why haven't you been here?" And
Oh,
like
I might have to try that then.
yeah, like there's a lot of like really surprisingly like deep conversations and like contextual things that'll pop up. Even other ones that'll be like as the party's kind of continuing on, like how much Ken and Akihiko will bring up Shinji. Like even stuff like that is really really cool. I love to see that.
I didn't really think about that. There's probably a lot that I'll miss because I don't know, just going through it. I generally use the same party, but now I'll have to try and maybe mix it up just to see like what happens. Yeah.
Guys, anything we can do to not make Faz be the go-to source for people looking up Persona optional dialogue. That's all I'm asking for. Just experience it yourself, please. Someone has to do it besides him.
He found his niche.
I think about that dude's channel like so much because like, listen,
He's got a lot of videos.
good
man.
for you. You've got a lot of videos. You've got a huge following. At the end of the day, I will always still think of it like this. Like, man, it is so funny to me. Like, this dude's whole channel though is really just, hey, were you too lazy or did you miss this thing in a game? Just here you go. You can watch it here. Like
It's
him
so
and
much work. It's like everything, every cutscene, every like costume. It's like everything. Yeah.
yeah, him and what is it? Him and Buffmeister.
Buffmeister,
yeah,
yeah.
they'll have to have a 1v1 in the gulag one day to see whose YouTube channel stays alive.
I haven't seen Buffmeister in a minute. Is he like okay? Let me see.
I think he's playing Wukong or something. I don't know, man. Unsurprisingly, guys, man who hates Let's Plays, I do not subscribe to either of these people's channels, so I don't fucking know.
Their content's basically mine with like no commentary.
It's like, I know what you mean when you say that, but I want you to know that sounds so hilariously insulting, and I'm all here for it. Hey, this is just like my video if no one talked.
It's like it's like the whole game with nobody talking over it.
Bro, I'm some sicko out there. Guys, if you like Faz without like all the like if you like Faz's videos but without the upload rate, just go to Marsh and mute it. It's great. Just
Or it's like if you ever want to watch one of my videos and you don't want to hear like about like stupid ass jokes, like go watch Faz. You can see the whole game.
oh my god, that is so funny.
If Faz were to get into like retro, that would be it. He'd be like 3 million subs.
Not happening.
If he would have covered
Calling
like
it now.
Majin Tensei or something.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
He's too busy poop socking Persona 5X. There's a Pizza Hut campaign they're gonna play through right now.
Poop sock.
Have you not heard that term before?
I've heard it. Yeah.
I was like, if there's someone who should be familiar with the term poop socking, it would be you.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That's so funny.
My,
P5X.
ironically, my mental image I always go to when it comes to poop socking is the WoW episode of South Park.
That's pretty much what I would think of too. Yeah, like World of Warcraft. I think that's where it came from, right?
I don't think they verbatim say that, but that was definitely like around that era. So I did pull it up, by the way. You are right about the guns and the shooting in the original answer for PS2.
Yeah, you could get like different guys. They felt different enough.
They
I don't know
were,
if they really
and there's
were.
no lock
Yeah.
on. And I'll tell you right now, it looks way shittier to aim, but also the camera angle is way different.
It was clunky, but it was kind of cool because like the whole game you spend like. Well, no, I guess there's the bow. You used to have the bow too.
Oh,
on,
you're
like, the
right. Yeah,
protagonist.
so I guess they probably just took the same thing with the bow, and that's what they had.
Yeah,
That's-
it's a little different. I remember.
I will
very
say
clearly
though,
shooting.
especially comparing like the dungeons you run around in the answer versus the ones in the DLC, because like we talked about this, like how night and day Tartarus looks like in the game. Like, dude, the dungeons in the answer literally look like someone like pooped out a level in
They're
Gary's mod.
shit.
I was
Yeah.
like, dude, it looks so bad by comparison.
They're so boring in the original
There's
one.
no skybox. There's like almost no details. It's like, what's the someone specifically said, how abstract can you make a $5 painting?
It was then the music I don't think even changed. It was just like the same like
Oh my god,
piano.
yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. It was rough.
Any last words about the answer?
Um, I don't think. I'm a big Persona 3 fan, so I really like it. That's basically my thoughts on it. Like I'll give it a pass for being kind of a little repetitive. I think it's just cool that they even remade it. I know some people don't like remakes at all.
I'm
But like I said, if you were to tell me like back then, like, oh, they're gonna remake the fucking Persona 3 the answer, I'd be like, what? Are you kidding me? So it's pretty cool.
I think it made Persona 3 go from a game that was like probably my fourth favorite Persona game to like top 3, and the answer, if at least for the last 30 hours of my week, I've been loving it. Like it's been the only thing I have played, and I have not wanted to like stop playing it since. Like if I wasn't talking to you now, I would be playing it. Like I've enjoyed it way more than I ever thought I would, which I was not expecting, and to the point where like I've been wanting, like one of the reasons I want to beat it more than anything is I kind of want to like I have this like sometimes, but like you ever have that moment like when you're playing a game that you're planning on covering for a video, and like you're just getting excited thinking about talking about in the video. Like I've been having
Oh
that
yeah,
feeling while
all the
playing
time.
it.
Yeah, you can like start to like think about like I'll play through the game and think of like jokes and shit that I'll tell in the video. I love that. I'm not gonna do a video on the answer probably, but if I did, I would be thinking.
You should, if Atlus asks, "Hey, did you do any coverage of the answer?" You just send them this send them this podcast.
This is interesting. Now they ask you, what are you gonna do with the code if we give it to you? So I mean, you might know that. Maybe you applied for one.
Me,
So they ask you that now.
no shit, dude. I haven't applied. I haven't applied for anything from Atlus in almost 2 years exactly to this day.
Well, so for SMT5 they didn't ask. They're just like, do you want this code?
Bunch of
But with
commies.
the answer, they were like, okay, well, why do you want it? Like, what are you gonna do with it?
See,
And
so
I put tweets, and they gave it to me.
I want you. By the way, I hope you. I hope. I don't imagine you would. I genuinely do put your tweets on the level of someone. If you told me you were a moderator for iPhone, I would believe you. That's where I think of your.
For iPhone. Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. I guess it was good enough.
I like.
But I'm gonna post.
I
tweets
want you to
about
know,
it.
like, who was. I was like, thinking, like, I will tweet about it, but exclusively on my second Twitter account that people don't know is actually me. Like that, like you need, yeah,
Somebody else,
you need
yeah.
to be like, I will tweet about this, but only on my alt.
I'm glad they see the value. They didn't. I don't think they used to see the value. I can say Persona 3 shit balls and it'll get like 400 likes. They don't get it.
Please tweet that right now. Let's see how many we can get by the end of the episode. No picture,
Persona 3 shit
no
balls?
image. Yeah,
Okay.
literally just Persona 3 shitballs, no space.
Wait, no space at all?
Because remember, Persona
Like between any of the letters?
when Persona is spelled in the games, there's
Yeah.
never a space. So literally
So you're
just
saying
do
all one
Persona
string,
3
Persona 3
shitballs.
shitballs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can tweet that. No picture?
No picture. We need to see.
There has to be a picture.
What do you mean there has to be a picture? You're gonna put probably like the fucking Burger King foot lettuce guy's picture on there.
The picture is how you get the likes because it usually has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
That's true. I'll look at you. You could put out a tweet that says like thanks Michelle Obama, and then just have like a copy of fucking Kirby Star Allies.
Yeah, that's how you get likes. Do that. Kirby's Star. I'll try. I'm gonna lose followers for doing this.
The Persona 3 shitballs.
There has to be something else too, like please retweet or something.
No, because then you're begging for it. You can't do that.
All right, fine. This is a test. I'm scared to do this.
What's gonna wait?
The other day, like an Atlus rep.
Oh
followed
my
me.
god, dude.
Like the shop Atlus guy. What if he hates
Listen,
it?
dude. The
It's too late. I tweeted it.
Oh my god. Listen, this wouldn't happen if you stuck to your community postings. That's all I'm saying.
I did one of those the other day, and it's like I use like punctuation and stuff. Hello, everyone. Another update.
Can you imagine how many more likes and retweets I would get if you did balls with a Z?
Fuck. No.
Don't worry, I'm going to say that one for tomorrow. I'll ratio it tomorrow for you.
Oh, that was too good.
So,
This
man,
is gonna get no like.
did you know that we've been talking about what we're playing for like maybe an hour?
Damn.
So everybody, enjoy what was not the main topic of this episode, but will probably be the main topic of this episode. We're gonna jump back in time and talk about some news really quick. We don't really have like any actual fucking news, but I guess actually that's true. We have a huge fucking news, a huge giant leak, but like everyone knows about it, and it's not official yet. But we'll talk about that later. Right now, we got to talk about polls, everyone's favorite, elections. We've got the results for the SMT5 Vengeance user poll for adding new demon navigators. So Japan had one, there was an Atlus West one worldwide. They did it only through Twitter, so that way you know no one can fuck it up. And by that I mean everyone fucked it up probably. But Atlus said we will add in one new demon navigator. They gave us this huge giant list we roughed last time, and we talked about how easy this would be to rig because it's fucking Twitter. Like you could just pay like dude on Fiverr to like rig the whole like casting system. We have our winners. There are 6 new demons that will be getting added, but before I say who they are, who did you vote for / did you vote?
So I didn't vote, but if I were to vote, I would have picked. Do you get one? Or do you get
one
3?
vote?
One vote. It would have been Mara, so I would have
Like,
won.
just like out of irony, to be like the least ironic joke vote ever, or like any? Do you want to back this up at all?
Because you can have Mara follow you around on the map. I need that. No other
I'm
game
gonna tell you
has
right
that.
now. Mara, because he got added. Spoilers. If he's not to scale,
Yeah.
because like, you know how big he is in Vengeance, right? If he's
huge.
not to
Yeah.
scale,
Oh jeez.
refund. Give me my money back.
I have like something so filthy to say, but I wonder if.
What do you mean?
Can I say it?
Do you not know some of the things that have been said on this fucking show?
So like, if he sees an enemy, like it should get like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
it should get
want
bigger.
I want the
flaccid, and
Red
then it should
Dead
get bigger.
Redemption 2 horseball physics on Mara.
Yeah. No, they need to go all out with it and like model everything, physics, everything. I hope it does something funny because all
In
the
Pers-
other ones do. Like Ippon Data
In
like
Persona
screams.
6, will we finally have the technology to add hair to Mara? Or
That
do
would
you
make
think
it AO.
did Mara like? Has Mara been smooth by choice or by technical limitations? I've always assumed it was because of technical limitations.
Just because of the rating,
No,
right?
you can do hair. You can do hair on dick and balls. What do you
You
mean?
can't.
You can't really do. The
You can put-
ESRB is not going to be like, all right, fine, you can show testicles, but there better not be any hair.
Well, I thought the reason it wasn't AO is because it's clear, like it's like a green and not very detailed penis, right? So if they put hair on it, like that's a new dimension. Like it's AO. That's AO territory.
We're gonna have to set this down, so we'll have to do some further research about this.
You might be right. I mean, like
Oops.
GTA has like
Yeah.
penis in it.
See,
Yeah,
the
you
weird
might be
one they
right.
get with though is like it has to be like it can't be hard. They're like they get the FCC's the same way. Like FCC and ESRB are weird if it's not flaccid. If it's flaccid, no problem.
It needs to be flaccid when he's following you, and then like, oh, there's like a demon or something nearby, and then that would be so funny. They won't do it though.
All right. Speaking of flaccid, though, here's our new demons getting added: Mothman, who got first place; Idun, Fionn Mac Kemhel, Mara. That, by the way, that's a name that should be AO. It's got fucking cum with the U in there.
I just say Finn McComb.
I'm gonna say you are a fucking lie. You have
literally what I
never
call him.
referred to him as Finn McCum.
Yeah. I've said it in tweets before, just Finn McComb.
That's if you
don't know how to say
tweeted
it.
that, if you've ever tweeted Finn McCum, please link that to me because I'm gonna call you a fucking liar. I don't think you've ever done that.
I have, but I'll have to scroll back a long time. Let me get it. It's gonna take like 4 hours. Maybe if I just search Marsh SMT Finn McComb.
Wow, 9,000 results. Jesus Christ.
Wow. It might come out.
Alright, next after Finn McCum is Mara, Cleopatra, and Hellbiker. What are your initial thoughts on that? Because when I saw that, I was like, unsurprised that Mara and Mothman made it. Shocked that Idun got so far up, and beyond shocked that Hellbiker was included. Like, that felt like someone like gave him a gimme.
Yeah, that's Japan, right? I guess he must be popular in Japan.
He's popular
That's all
here.
I can think. I like Hellbiker a lot. I don't know why I wouldn't be like Matador though.
I mean, we talked about this before. So here is the top 10 in Japan. Everywhere else only got a top 3. But the top 10 in Japan is fucking wild. Mara, Idun, Mothman, Fionn McCum, Hellbiker, Cleopatra, Mephisto. By the way, who the fuck's voting for Mephisto? Like, literally, who are the Mephisto SMT stands?
I hope they're behind a good case.
Cerberus,
I have no idea
Jack
who do that.
Frost in 9th place, and Yoshitsune. Like, that literally looked like that last from like 6 to 10. It was like someone hit all random.
Let me see this. I think I found. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at Demon Popularity poll. Well, so Jack Frost wins the Demon Popularity, and then he doesn't get added as a game.
Like, to be fair, I think the fact that like the Nahabino Jack Frost is there is already good enough for me. It's just really weird that both Jack Frost and Jack-O-Lantern were in it, and neither of them got top 5.
It doesn't make sense. It's Jack Frost.
Well,
How could he not?
Here's the funny thing.
like Eden.
Mar makes sense. Mothman makes sense. For all the fucking gooners out there, Idun makes sense. But, like, the one that I don't get, and I like Finn McCum, but, like, Finn McCum, I will say, like, that's a wild one. How did Finn McCumhill get higher than fucking Tits McGee Cleopatra?
That's literally what I was going to say, not Cleopatra.
If the Gooners are already picking Idun, which, by the way, I know Poop Sock my run through with Idun. Idun is like, once I unlock her, she's in my party till the end of the game. Like, she's my ride or die demon. But, like, Cleopatra's move literally is just fucking showing her ass and tits the move. Like, one of my most watched videos is literally just a clip of her doing her special attack.
Honestly, it would have been cool even to see, like, it wouldn't have made sense, but, like, the Kadishtu, like, one of them.
They were not
cool.
votable, unfortunately, but I also agree. I think the Kadishtu would have been cool, and also the Council of Bethel. Like, I think it would have been cool having Zeus, Abdiel, even, like, Tsukiyomi, and, especially Kansu. I think Kansu would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sick. It's like when you're walking around in like SMT4 at the end with like Merkaba. That'd be cool. Something like that.
So
the people you allied with.
So along with this announcement, did you see the official word about it? That more are coming.
No. I hope they just do all of the ones they
what they should do, they should just do all of them. It's fucking Pokemon. Like, they're not, like, making new animations for them. Like, they all have walking animations in the world. Like, realistically, there should be no reason why any of them aren't navigators. My weird one is, like, because of the way navigators work in the game, like, you know how they have their special spots next to the Leyline Fountain? Like,
yeah, they have to, like,
those. How are we going to swap out the demons? Now, that being said, a cutscene that plays before you fight Hellbiker. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, you're in the desert, and then he just shoots out of some random highway that was apparently magically above you. My hope is that, like, I want, like, all of the demons to have, like, a batshit insane reason that they pop out of. Like, just be completely out of pocket.
You know the Morrow one's gonna be funny. Like, there's got to be a dialogue
God, I
or
hope
something.
so.
It'll be
Oh,
funny.
no, there has to be, because remember, the navigators have things that they say when you find a ley line fount, a Magatsui rail, and different treasures. So they will.
Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe that's why it's probably like, if they were to add all of them, it would take somebody like, for like 8 solid hours of work. Like, that's a lot to just like.
We should try and find that out. Like, I feel like we could, with enough questions about Persona 3 shitballs, we could get someone at Atlus to tell us how long the demon text takes.
I bet you they'd like crank out like 30 of them in a day. They probably don't want to do that many of them.
It's like, hey, what did you, how much grinding did you have to do at work today? I had to talk about this green penis monster all day.
I like to think it's just like, all my work's like spreadsheets. It's like, oh, they took like the intern, they like copy this like cell on the spreadsheet like 100 times, like change the text.
I mean, you know how like game writers do localization, right? Like they do it all in Excel spreadsheets.
Is that right?
Oh, you didn't? Yeah. So when they're sending the information over for the game to get localized, it all just goes in as an Excel spreadsheet.
Then that's actually I like really want to see that. It has to be huge. It has to be like a million cells.
It's a biggie. It's a big one for sure.
That's pretty awesome, honestly. Excel. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah, so I think Kadishtu are a good one because you already kind of brought up like, all right, well, who should we realistically add next? I think Kadishtu for sure. Here's my question: if we're already adding in new features with demons, just add in a demon that's not in the game and fucking surprise everyone. Like, remember when Soul Hackers 2 just said, hey, fuck it, 6 months later we're going to add in original Soul Hackers 1 Pixie. There you go. Have fun.
I do remember that. That was a weird one. Weird little update.
Well, they also had to update it and add a run button, so that game that game had some problems.
Honestly, a good one that they could have done, and they like probably wouldn't do this, is like, since you lose the original model of like Lilith, like you could add the old one as a navigator.
That's a good question. I mean, not a good question. That's a good point. Like another one that, because the game got patched recently, Mac and I brought this up. They need to just patch in that if you're doing New Game Plus, you can swap between the Nahabino forms. Because it's like story-wise, makes sense that you can't. Gameplay-wise, I wish that I could be purple.
Yeah, I love the new form. That'd be pretty sick. That'd be a cool.
Well, even imagine doing a Canon of Creation run with the new form the whole time.
That'd be pretty fun. I'd be down to run through that whole campaign again, maybe, if they added some weird stuff. I hope they do, like, I mean, they probably won't, but it'd be cool to see, like, I shouldn't say it. Am I asking for DLC?
Oh
maybe.
God.
Like a quest or something?
Like a freebie.
Like they did in
like a freebie.
Apocalypse. Yeah.
We bought enough copies of that game. We could do it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
What would you do if I told you that right now you can buy SMT5 Vengeance for cheaper than Episode Aigis?
Like, physically?
Yeah, it's like $30.
I should pick one up. I went to Walmart the other day, and they didn't have like any Switch games.
Did you look at Did you look for the SMT5 coaster?
Yeah, I was like looking for SMTVV like anything. They didn't have it.
If you go, so here's the funny thing about this. So the retail floor plan for video games at Walmart, they got a SMT5 Vengeance little like placard that only goes up in the PlayStation 5 section, even though no Walmarts got SMT5 on PlayStation. They only ordered it on Switch.
Really?
So, yeah, I got my local Walmart to give me and it looks just like a coaster. Like, literally, it's the exact same size as a regular coaster. But it was just so funny because, like, It was just so funny because it was hey, I'm sorry to be that guy. Can you give me this? Because you have to get them to open up the cage, and it's like, all right, I'm ready for you to say no, but like, I'm sorry. Can I have this, please? Because like,
Can I
yeah,
play
like
that?
it's the yeah. They're A, just gonna throw it away, and B, there's literally not even a copy of the game for them to sell it.
So they gave you it?
Yeah.
You said they gave you it?
Ironically, it took me like 3 Walmarts, but I finally got someone to give it to me.
That's sick.
Well, it was.
I'd be too scared to
I
try
mean,
that.
again, like the worst thing you're gonna say is no. Like the funniest thing was like when they would say no, they would just normally be like, "Oh, well, my manager would have to approve of it." Which, again, these are things they're not really meant to give away, but also like it's just gonna get fucking put in the trash. So like, what does it matter?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I want to get ones from like back in the day at GameStop. They'd have like the big stands and stuff. I never thought
I've
about
got for Strikers is probably the one I have the most stuff for. So, do you remember when they would do like those half glass window planes of like it would just fill up a whole plane of like a big ass like window?
it.
So I
Yeah,
have one
yeah.
of those for Strikers, and then I have GameStop. It might still do this, but like they would do these really big posters, but instead of making them on paper, they would make them on like a stretchy fabric material. So I got one of those that's just the cover art of Strikers, and it looks really, really cool.
That sounds nice. Yeah, it's not, especially if it's not even just paper. It's like kind of special, different.
Yeah, they didn't do very many for 5. There's like nothing for... Dude, this is how bad it is for Soul Hackers 2. The only thing for Soul Hackers 2 I could find is there's a Xbox Live download code card.
Oh, I think I've seen that. I don't have it, but
It's a...
that's funny. I wish they got a poster or something.
I was trying to think, like, I feel like there's other ones, but I'm probably forgetting it. But, speaking of a game that got no advertising here in the West that I have no merchandise for, unironically, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. I feel like I saw no fucking, like, posters for
Yeah.
that.
It's non-existent. I mean, they had that like press box, but
Yeah, for Atlus employees only.
yeah, that was before I was even like in this community.
You were
I
in
think.
it. It was well. That was a funny one of like you were in it, but I don't know. Like it. That was the kind of box that like they were gonna send to like influencers who do general press more than like people like you and I.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Uh,
It looks cool.
that
I
being
guess.
said, though, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster has thankfully been in the news this week because God bless some ding dong over at Atlus decided to. Apparently, they decided to leak Nocturne. Not Nocturne. They decided to leak Raidou getting an HD collection by just replacing the achievements in Nocturne HD to test it. So there's a lot to gain here. So number one, we at least know what 15 plus achievements are going to be for this Raidou HD collection. We do know it's going to be the first and second game. And the funniest thing about it is the fact that, and I feel like no one's actually talked about this. Do you know why they leaked through an update on Steam?
Like why?
No,
they
no, no.
did
Like,
it?
so,
I don't
so
know
the
why they
reason
do
why
it.
it would happen is they're both using the same engine. They're both using Unity, and the reason they're using this Unity port is because there's a really, really cheap Unity emulator for PS2 games, and that's where the game is built in. So for the
Okay.
build that they were using for Raidou, it was so similar to Nocturne that when updating the build, they basically just updated Nocturne instead, and then that told everyone that the game was coming.
Well, do you think it's gonna be like HD or just like
No,
a port? Probably
100% HD.
right?
So the funny thing is, like, yeah, because there's been some confusion of is it just the first game? What kind of differences are they going to make, and things like that with it. The things we can say for certain are this: it's going to be both games. If they're smart, they won't charge $60. I think 40 for both is smart, but again, this is the same company who tried charging 50 for Nocturne, so we can't really never say never.
I bet it'll be 50.
I mean, at least
Yeah.
50 for 2 games is better than 50 for 1 game.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
The real question that I want to have though is this, because we know it's going to get a similar treatment to Nocturne HD in terms of quality. I don't think they're going to put as much work into the like graphical shading and filters as they did, because I think that got a little bit more pushback than was worth it for the effort. And I mean, honestly, Raidou still looks great even to this day, playing it on PS2 or even emulating it. The other question is like, what do they add? Like, like is like we had added features to Nocturne HD. What can they add to Raidou 1 or 2 that is either going to be better or worse?
Um, I would think maybe too obvious. They're gonna add voice
I don't know,
acting.
dude. Like you say you say that's obvious, but like
I
I
think so.
I think it'd be cool if they did it, but at the same time, it's tough because it's like,
They
but it's
totally will.
expensive. Like doing voice acting is expensive. It's not a nothing cost.
Yeah, but like I don't know if they voice act every like I actually haven't played Nocturne HD. Like they don't voice act every line,
No,
right?
no, there's actually very little voice
Yeah.
acting in Nocturne HD.
That's what I would think they would do, just kind of add like a few key scenes. I don't even know too much. Like I like the Raidou games, right? But I don't know so much that I'd be like, oh, they have to fix this or change this without just making like an entirely new game. Like I don't know what they'd really change. If there is anything to change. Like not too many people even played it. So it's sort of like there's not like much fan feedback
Well,
on
what's
that.
kind of funny is like it was a pretty well requested game in Japan to get a remake or remaster, so it's not surprising that they're doing it. I feel like I'm just more shocked that they're going based on popularity and not by release order. So like the fact that they're doing this before DDS is wild, because I feel like everyone just assumed that Digital Devil Saga was going to be first. Especially when you think about like gameplay wise, there has still not been a game like Raidou in many years.
Yeah, no, it's super unique. They're cool games. I'm super glad to hear it. I'm not disappointed at all. I mean, I'd love to see DDS, but I'm sure we'll get that eventually.
I always kind of wondered. I'd be curious if there's a reason it ever came out, but I wonder why the Raidou games never got a English dub. Like, do you think it was because it was so late into the PS2's life, or like I just like if there was no dub in Japanese, like Nocturne 1, I would get it. It's just very weird. It's just very weird that there's Japanese voice acting, but not English voice acting. You know?
It is weird. I don't know. It always struck me as like a super like just super like experimental like budget like oh let's push this out in the US and see like if it does well. So maybe they just didn't
I
care.
wonder if it was almost like an authenticity thing though, because like the world,
The
yeah, the
setting.
setting is
Yeah.
so Japanese. Like it's almost like I wonder if it's like a Yakuza thing where
That would make
you
sense.
almost want
Yeah.
to kind of have that there. Because like honestly, the voice acting in Japanese is very good. Like the voice acting for Raidou is really really top notch.
Yeah, I don't super remember a lot of it, but I know it's in there. It's been a while since I played those.
Here's also the other $1 million question in the room. What the fuck do they call this collection? They can't just call it the Devil Summoner collection.
Maybe like Kuzunoha collection or
I'm
something.
going to tell you this right now. If they call, if they do this, or they make a meme cover of this, it doesn't even have to be the real cover, but if they do a cover that's called this, someone at Atlas West, listen up, you can get this, it's a freebie idea. Call it Shin Megami Tensei, colon, Devil Summoner, colon, Raidou Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army, slash Shin Megami Tensei, colon, Devil Summoner, colon, 2,
The whole
Raidou
thing.
Kuzunoha versus King Abaddon, the title. No, HD collection.
Aigis collection, yeah.
I do not
That's
like.
really
I want
long.
two SMT logos. I want two Devil Summoner logos, and I want two Raidou Kuzunohas.
They should totally do that. I would be on board. I hope the Steam page like it fills up like whole like paragraph block of space with the title. Even if it's just the base title, it probably still
Other
will.
wild ass things that I'm not ready for. If this means we will finally get new Raidou, like official Raidou Kuzunoha art from Atlus, that will be fucking sick. If they want to do something low effort, that'll be really sick. Do any new music. like doing like even if they just did like an arranged soundtrack for both games, like with like actual percussion and stuff, like that would also be really sick.
Yeah, the merch. They're finally like digging into their older stuff. And they're gonna make merch that'll like appeal to me a bit more. I want to see the Raidou hat on sale.
So
I want to see all kinds of shit.
you bring up another great point. Are you ready for some more Atlus hypocrisy?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that they fucking nuked Raidou like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes.
They took him out of the Chinese version of Nocturne. Like, you can't buy that version in Asia. And this one gets underreported on so much, but it is so fucking weird to me still. The only versions of Persona 5 with the Raidou Kuzunoha costumes are the PlayStation version of Persona 5, so PS3 and PS4, and Persona 5 Royal only on PS4. Every other version, Switch, Xbox, PS5, and PC, all removed the Raidou stuff. No music, no costumes, no nothing.
I wonder if they like made up with China or something and like P5X or something.
And I love like that would be the reason why. But then but remember, there was a Raidou Kuzunoha costume in Soul Hackers 2. So it's like they were never consistent with it. But like the fact that they straight up removed him from like P5 was the weirdest, because that was after Soul Hackers 2. So
you're right. Yeah, I sort of
it's
forgot
like,
about that.
what? Yeah, like we knew why, but we didn't really know all the specifics. So it's very weird. If this leads to a chance of it not coming out in Asia, that'll also bring up a lot of interesting questions. Like, what if this is just straight up a release that just comes out everywhere? Japan, PAL regions, America, but no Asia. Like, that would be wild. Because there's a huge Atlus market who, like, plays in, Malaysia, Korea, like, even, like, China. Like, there's a huge audience who plays these games.
I hope it comes out everywhere. It is very. I'd love to know like why they decided to remove it from Persona 5 and like how they're doing this now. Like who's making the decision? Maybe it's a different person. I don't know how their company structure works. Maybe the new person like doesn't care.
He's actually more racist towards China. That's why he won.
It's crazy that they banned it though, because like I don't know. I feel like
it's such an iconic
worse,
costume though. Like that's the thing. Like you can't, like you couldn't change it. Like you couldn't like just change his design. Like that's so tied to that character.
Yeah, you can't change.
All right, Marsh, are you ready for some Doomer prediction time? So we're gonna be safe first. What platforms will this come out on at launch?
Okay, I mean we know PC. I guess it'd be like PC, PS5, Switch, Xbox. I'd say maybe even PS4.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they do a Capcom where they say, fuck it, no PS5 version because you don't really need one? Because remember, Nocturne came out 2 years after the PS5 was out. And there was no... Like, literally, Nocturne, even on a PS5, doesn't play any better than the PS4 version. It's just straight up the exact same thing.
So maybe they'll do that again. I think it'll get a PS4 version.
I want them to do a little bit more. Like I feel like that at least the PC setting should be on par with the PS5 version. Like the fact that you couldn't run Nocturne in 4K, let alone 60 FPS, I thought was so lazy.
Oh yeah, I mean I hope they're not like super lazy with it. I hope it doesn't suck because like maybe the pre-rendered backgrounds can get like messed up or something. I know like Nocturne had some issues with like the demon ending looked terrible because of like the lighting and like the rendering was fucked up.
I mean, it wasn't. I mean, listen, it wasn't fucking like Silent Hill HD collection bad.
It wasn't that bad. I just hope they put effort into it. It's not like broken.
It was
when
just
I buy
like there was just so many weird questions I had with Nocturne HD, especially because like remember, Nocturne HD came out 4 years ago. That was 2020 in Japan, and I remember even at the time, like, that was one of the last Atlus games that we had to wait a weirdly long time for. Like, in Japan, we got Nocturne first and Strikers that year, almost a whole year before both games came out. And, it was really funny of, like, the game sold really well in Japan and then just completely was, like, a wet turd over here in the West. Like, seriously, you can still find, like, do you have a physical copy of Nocturne? Like, HD Nocturne?
No, but I see them at GameStop for like
Yeah, like it
$10.
is one of the cheapest fucking games out there. Like they didn't overprint it. It's just, I mean, people wanted it, but it was one of those things that it was just kind of like, yeah, dude, I don't know, man. Like I think that was one of those ones of the $50 price tag. Like even me, host of this fucking nerd podcast every week, I didn't buy a physical copy until they were at least $25 or less.
I'm still waiting for some reason.
It will not.
Go
Yeah, I'll
pick
tell you
one
what.
up.
It's not going to
Here
get
we go
cheaper than
again.
like we're in the Soul Hackers 2 like area of price. Like just buy it at this point, dude.
Yeah. Next time I go to GameStop, I've been meaning to get a Soul Hackers 2 copy. I'm still saying that, like
I'll
years
tell you.
later. I'm like always thinking
I'll tell
about
you
it.
what. I've got a great Christmas gift coming your way this year.
I wanna plug it in and just like play it on the TV for like 10 minutes to see what it feels like.
What would you want it on more though? Do you want to play it on your poopy Switch Lite, or do you want to play it on your PS4?
Oh, PS4.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, because we're over here doing the Doomer Hour, all-time peak concurrence for Nocturne HD on Steam. What do you think? All time. Yeah.
Players. Like
At
it
once.
once. Oh, like 500.
Oh, come on, dude. No, it's not Concord, man. Like, come on. Like, realistically.
10,000?
1906.
Well, so I wasn't that far off the first time.
You were four times lower than what it was. I'd say it's pretty high. Just for context, though, 3 months after release, it dropped to 200 and has never been higher than 900, which apparently people got really fucking jazzed to play Nocturne 1 month before Vengeance. I don't know why, but apparently, literally the month before and the month of Vengeance this year, 900 and 800 people played it on Steam.
On RPGs, I mean, it's always
No.
gonna be low.
Literally, you look at the Steam database
yeah.
like player chart. It's 2,000, nosedive to 200, flat as fuck until 2024. Like nobody played it.
That makes sense. I bet you Raidou will be like
No,
lower,
I think
probably.
Raidou, if they're smart about it, I think there's a way that you could get like Raidou if your release timing is good. So I guess like my prediction for systems is this. I'm kind of similar with you. I'm surprised you left this one out though. They've got to do Xbox. Like at this point, they have not done a game that's not on Xbox, even though SMT, Nocturne, and even Strikers never actually made it. Which, by the way, I want to let everyone know, there's a version of that fucking game on Xbox sitting there. Koei Tecmo could release it. Atlus just has to fucking pay the money for it, but they won't do it. But I think I'm assuming that this releases sometime January to April 2025 because the game's done. Like the game is as done as it needs to be, but they're clearly not going to release it this year unless it's like a shadow drop at TGS, which I'd be very shocked. I think they're going to announce it at TGS, but then it's going to get released early 2025. I think if they're smart, they're going to do PS4, PS5, Switch, PC. I mean, even if it's like around Switch 2, fuck it, Switch 2. No Xbox One, but Xbox Series X and X.
This probably sounds right. Yeah.
That being said, though, the other elephant in the room that everyone did not like that I brought this up, but I have to ask because we're being realistic. We're living in a weird fucking age, man, where Atlus is scared of releasing their games physically, apparently, because they hate money. What do you think the reaction is going to be if this ends up being digital only and the only way to get a physical copy is through like something like limited run?
It's like, I mean, it won't be good. I could see that coming though. I still think this is like Raidou to me is just so like I don't know like how to explain it. It's just like so budget, like they don't really care about it. I don't know why I think that. I feel like there won't be a physical release. They're just like, okay, if people like this, maybe some people will buy it. I don't think it has like a huge fan base. I mean, maybe
Dude, like, do you
Japan.
remember like back in the day? Well, like even in Japan, like I think like even if we don't get a physical release over here, there will definitely be one in Asia, at the very least.
Yeah.
Fucking, they got an Ultimax physical release on PS4. Like they'll port anything over there. Ironically, the only one they don't have is actually P4G and P3P.
Oh, that's kind of
Well,
weird.
that's a whole limited run thing. So,
Yeah.
I think in a world where Sega is comfortable enough to give limited run Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, I think anything's possible. Atlus, it just sucks too, because like remember back in the day, dude, like especially PS2 and PS3, Atlus would just port the weirdest shit physically. Like they just like not that they didn't care, like it felt like they were willing to take a risk on the games they put out, and that was like games that weren't even like their own IP. Like Atlus nowadays wouldn't even fucking sneeze at Operation Darkness.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They would fucking kick that. They would kick
That's
that
a
shit to the
that's like
fucking curb. They'd be like, "You port that shit. I'm not playing that. I'm not putting the physical release on that."
that'd be an awesome thing to see just like show up on Steam
Dude,
though.
we're living in a world where fucking Freedom Wars got a remaster announced. Anything is anything is possible.
It happened.
Um, that being said, though, a part of me feels like if this is announced and is one of those like boom limited run right away, it will pretty much because like, and this is the weird thing with limited run, especially, and a thing I want to get into more. Hopefully, I can get the CEO on the show. Hopefully soon. I've been trying to get him on for a while, but like one of the big things with it is like it's really interesting how like the internet will always kind of make you think that, like, oh, the internet hates everything, or like the internet is very like very negative with it. But like, man, the internet's been mad at limited run for a really long time, and like some people are like, oh, the internet's always hated limited run, but like the big thing that pushed for them with a lot of people was that fucking Hogwarts Legacy thing that happened like 2 years ago. Do you remember that?
A little
So
bit,
like their
yeah.
their community manager basically tweeted out saying like they were excited to play Hogwarts Legacy, and over the course of like 2 days, a bunch of people basically tweeted at Limited Run, "Hey, you've got a fucking Harry Potter defender working for you. You got to fire them."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the fact that like, hey, this comes back to what we talked about, because they lived in an at-will state, they were able to fire that person without any
Yeah.
reason. So
For
for
liking Harry Potter.
can you imagine being like, why'd you lose your job? I liked Harry Potter. Boo. um. So yes, I thought like that would be a thing that eventually dies down. Like eventually, the internet will move on for that. They have not. Fucking to this day, people bring that story up every single time. Like they have not like gotten any slack for that decision at all. Which, by the way, is even more wild when you realize that at any point they could have just been like, we won't comment on it. Like they completely did that to themselves. Like they didn't have to comment on it. Like they like
Yeah.
I feel like I almost wonder at this point, like, is it worth it at this point if they just like, hey, we made it we not saying that we made the wrong decision. We handled the situation poorly, and we apologize. Because like I think like they've been trying to do this thing where like they just never talk about it. But it's like, dude, like everyone hates you for one reason, like more than anything. Like it's kind of weird that you don't talk about it. But then at the same time, all these companies keep working with them. Like THQ, well, THQ owns them, but like Sony's worked with them, Atlus works with them. Ubisoft works with them, like almost every bit, like Bethesda, Xbox, like everyone's shy of like Nintendo and like like a small Japanese company here and there. Like most companies work with them, like so it's not like limited runs going away anytime soon, but like the rhetoric has to change one way or the other eventually, and it's like we can't just keep acting like, oh, hey, this company that everyone hates. Because, like, it's really weird of, like, especially where physical games are at right now. People will be like, boo, digital only is killing the future of physical preservation. And I'm all here for it. But at the same time, if the only chance for a game to get a physical is through limited run, you can say that sucks, but also when we buy it because it's the only way to get it physically, we're kind of looking like an idiot. Like we can't
Yeah.
really vote with our wallet. Like a good example is like Hi-Fi Rush. Like so many people are going to buy that game through limited run, even though they hate what happened to Hi-Fi Rush. but they want to own a physical version of that game. Because that game is a shit ton of licensed music, and you know it's going to get delisted one day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I I do hope it gets physical, but I could easily see it not happening.
And then, like, ironically, if they do it, you can then give them the exact same question right back at them. Hey, Atlus, thanks for doing Raidou HD physically. Why the fuck didn't you do this with Persona 4?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
so they're
Like,
damned.
opens up
They're
questions
damned
for the
if
other
they
ones.
do, and they're damned if they don't. So it's like the weirdest thing of just being like, I don't know how a video game publisher with the ability to publish their own video, like, it's not like they don't do it. Like, if they just didn't do it for any of their games, that'd be one thing. Like, they do it for almost everything because they publish so few games now that when they don't do it, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So it's like this really weird thing of like, if video game publishing physically was this really, really dying thing where most, like imagine Call of Duty. I love Call of Duty. Like, I play it, I'd say, like, at least, if not every 2 years, at the very least, I'm playing, like, the Black Ops or whatever and stuff like that. I'm not a physical defender for Call of Duty. I'm aware that when I buy a Call of Duty, it's a fucking USB drive. It's a USB drive with an activation key. There's
Yeah.
nothing on that fucking disc. But, like, when I talk to Atlus fans and Atlus collectors who aren't Marsh, when these games come out, they're all buying physical copies. Even the fucking even the
Yeah.
Xbox people, like Persona fans, SMT fans, Atlus fans, like, they want to buy these games physically because that's like where a lot, like, there's a huge crossover between Atlus, not even Atlus, RPG fans and physical game collectors. Like, a great example is recently, and I think we even talked about this like a little bit last time, like Persona 3 Reload on Xbox is like starting to sell out everywhere. Like, because that was probably a one and done print run. It was on Game. It's still on Game Pass, and it's like, but even a game like that on a system as niche as the Xbox, people are still like, oh yeah, but I gotta buy this up though.
Yeah. I know plenty of people that buy it for like every system. I don't know. It's not for me. Like, it's cool to like have a big collection like that, but it's just like, if I'm only gonna play the game one time, like I can only buy it one time. It's
It's
usually
not
how I
true.
am.
You can buy it multiple times. I believe in you. What's the Marsh Madden 08? That's what I need to know. Like, what's the game that we need to get you every copy of?
Every copy of. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I even own multiple copies of anything.
All right.
It's probably
Oh my
Skyrim.
god. What,
I have multiple
out
copies
of
of
every
Skyrim, I
Atlus
think.
game, which game do you think I own the most copies of?
Um, I don't. I don't really know. For some reason, I thought Catherine. I don't know why.
I own.
Like, do you have a bunch of copies of
Ironically, I
Catherine
only
in your
own
house?
3. I don't own. I could own more, but I only own 3 copies of Catherine.
I've none.
What the fuck's wrong with you, man? Jesus. So, Persona 5 Strikers, at one time, I think I owned 25 copies of that game, physically.
Yeah, like why?
So, GameStop...
What do you do with it?
What do you do with it? I was basically treating it like a Jehovah's Witness program. So, what happened? So, GameStop had a deal where they were doing, oh my god, clearance on a lot of stuff. Like, like, when I say a lot of stuff, I mean like a lot of stuff. To the point where it would be, here's a brand new game. The used game would still be like $20-$30, but the brand new game they couldn't sell used, they had to sell clearanced. There were some games that had $5 and under. I was getting brand new copies of 13 Sentinels, Aigis Rem, and Persona 5 Strikers, specifically on PS4. I was getting them for $2.50 a piece.
I mean, at that point, then I'd probably, because that's $50, so 25
Yeah.
copies, right?
So
Yeah. So that's
it was
pretty good.
around
That's
the
pretty good.
holidays, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna drive to every GameStop in my area that has a copy and buy them all, so then I can just give them away to everybody. Be like, oh hey, do you like Persona? Here you go, play this. Go buy this. Go play this. And I think even now to this point, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 6 copies left.
They could be fun to do, like a convention or something too, for like the
Yeah,
audience, just like
yeah,
hand
no,
out.
and I think
Yeah,
because the month that was happening was like Christmas, so it was basically like if you were a patron, you basically got a free fucking copy of either game.
that's pretty cool. I can get behind that. Yeah, but on my shelf, I'd feel bad just like doing nothing with it.
Yeah, I think if I had kept them all, that'd be a thing of like, yeah, why do I have this many? Unless it's like fucking Burger King Sneak King, and then at that point, it's like
That's
it's
funny.
probably
Yeah.
cheaper to buy a pallet than to buy a single copy at this point.
I've seen a bunch of those.
I think that's it. At least for what I got to say about Raidou. I'm excited this is getting announced. I hope this sells well enough that we finally get DDS, because really DDS is the only PS2 thing that'll be left after this. The only tricky part is just going to be, will this take another 4 years for us to get DDS? Like, why did this take 4 years?
I hope it's soon. I've been meaning to replay those. I'd love to do it on the PC
Yeah,
again.
I assume if whenever either of these come out, you're playing on PC, right?
Yeah, I love PC. Just like easiest for me right now, at least.
Just wait, 2025 Marsh, he's going to be playing on his ROG Ally X.
If I like the where I live right now, like the living room just isn't like great for like playing games. It's like really like my apartment's living room is like really big and open.
I just imagine
I
your
don't
cat just like rules it like Jabba's palace, like he's just sitting there.
know. He's usually hanging out, like lurking around me somewhere. He is right now. He's below the desk. Computer just works the
That's
best
true.
here. But one day I want to get back into consoles because I have so many console games that I
One
don't
day,
really
Martian
use.
is blown off Vietnam foot. We'll finally go back to a GameStop.
Yeah, when I move, probably. When I move all this
Speaking
shit.
of moving, how about we move on to questions so we can get the fuck out of here?
Okay, that works.
Any other last minute things you want to say about Raidou?
Um, Not really. I think it's just kind of like unexpected, maybe. That's about it. I think everybody could agree with that. It was not what I thought they were gonna do. I thought it was gonna be DDS, so it's neat to see them
I
preserve
just hope
that.
people like it.
And
If it comes out and people are like, "Ooh, I was not a fan of this," I'm like, "Oh no," because like Raidou's not a bad game, but Raidou's definitely Raidou will filter out people. Like Raidou is not a game you can like just pick up and be like, "Oh, I'll give it another 6 hours."
yeah, it's like an enthusiast game. I think like you have to be like. I guess you could pick it up and like not know anything about SMT and
I,
like it, but to me, it's
I
like
feel
a
I feel like if
advanced
we're not
like
counting the
game.
dancing games or like Catherine, I feel like it's got to at least be the most experimental Megaten game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Maybe it'll drive down like the physical
Oh God,
copies that are floating
if
around
that
at the
physical
cost.
version doesn't come with the fucking Raidou plushie, that's all I'm saying. What the fuck? What are we doing?
That'd be sick. I'd buy one. Yeah.
Put that on the record, folks. Marsh said he would buy one. We all know he will not. It could
I
be
will buy one.
$10 with the there could be 100 plushes for $10. He would still be like, oh, I'll buy it next week. I'll wait for it later.
I don't know. I always see like that Wario guys like Soul Hackers too. $15, $11, $1, 2 cents.
We're all just gonna
Like
have to
just keep
open up a
waiting.
PO box to give you copies of Soul Hackers.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to find it
Speaking of
somewhere.
going on sale, though, our first question comes from patron saint Stephen Yip. Says, "How long do you think it'll take before episode Aigis goes on sale, if ever?"
Like Christmas.
Really? You think
like
that?
10% off.
That's such a fuck. That's such a fuck you amount to get discounted.
They do that though. I've seen it happen before. I think they did it with what? With Royal. Like right after it came out, it was on sale like 10%.
10% is such a negligible amount, dude. It's not like we.
It's not really
Here's your
good,
check-in,
yeah.
by the way. The Persona 3 Reload $200 special edition has now gotten down. It's $75 brand new from an MSRP of 200. It's 75.
I would be surprised if Christmas is here and like they don't mark it down at least a little bit, like
It'll be like
20 maybe.
what will go lower first, the Persona 5 One More edition or the P3 Artist Collector's edition?
Yeah, that's the earliest I would say.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
Hey man, as someone who paid $200 for that, I thought that was a good collector's edition. I've got no FOMO for them lowering the price on that. They just probably made way too many.
Yeah, probably.
I think the expansion pass on its own, you will see get cut down to $20 this time. Actually, next summer. So at least like 6 to 9 months from now. There will be, though, a holiday bundle. There will be a holiday bundle. This either, like, once the PS5 Pro's out to Christmas time, there will be a bundle out that includes all the DLC, like all the DLC, and the season pass, and it will be $100. That will be your bundle.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe that'll happen.
It'll be a bad deal, but it'll be $100.
$100.
Especially because like now you can buy a P3R for like with the DLC. I think I've seen it like $45. Like for the premium edition, that was $100 originally. Ironically,
Yeah.
we brought this up last week. I think if they put out a physical version with episode Aigis on the disc for like $80, I bet people would double dip. I bet they'd buy it.
That'd be cool. I guess just to have it all in one disc. Yeah. That'd be neat.
We live in a world where we can't even get fucking Persona 4 dancing on a disc, so what the fuck do I know? Let's see. From the Discord, we've got Noctone, who says, do you think Atlus would port the DDS duology at some point now that we're getting Raidou?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Brave
Just like
answer. Brave answer. Oh, yes, sir.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I mean, listen, if they're willing to put in Raidou, what's cannibalism at this point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think DDS is like a safer bet. Like,
Oh,
people
yeah.
are gonna like it.
What if like that's
yeah.
why they did Raidou? Like they're like, oh, if we do Raidou next, then if it sucks, we can be like, great news, guys, we're returning to form by popular demand. Here's DDS.
Yeah, they could even do that. It's like closer to Nocturne. Like it's easier to sell that to
Oh, I
people,
mean,
I think.
especially even like around a Persona or even like a Metaphor for sure. Jaginga says, what do you like more, Raidou 1 or 2?
So the only one I have on PS2 is 2, and I think it's most would agree it's probably the
I
better
like that you
one.
own the more expensive
Besides the
one.
2.
I appreciate that.
It wasn't.
Oh
when
yeah,
bought
I mean,
it,
well,
but
dude,
yeah.
Raidou and even Raidou 2, those are fucking like bargain bin games for like a decade. Nobody wanted them.
Yeah, that's when I got it. But I'd say 2 is the better game.
I would say 2 is the better one, but 1 has arguably better music in some parts, but they're all really good. Like I think of Raidou as in that duology where like I don't think of like Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment as one over the other. I think of them as like one experience, you know?
No, yeah, for sure. These are like 2 different games. Yeah.
Let's see. Miranda says, with Reload being Atlus's first big remake, what other games do you want to see them do this to next, remake-wise? Personally, I'd like to see them go back to even older stuff that was never localized and get a Western release like SMT 1, 2, and If with added press turn combat. What do you think?
I'd like to see them bring those games over, but I would personally don't think like changing them that much would be like the way to go. But I don't know. That's a whole discussion. I wouldn't want press turn in like the old games. I don't think it would fit.
I'm gonna make a weird suggestion. I don't think anyone said. I'm not gonna say Persona 4, even though it probably is gonna be the next remake. I'm not even gonna say SMT 1, 2, or F, which would again be popular, or even Persona 1 or 2. In my heart of hearts, I would freak the fuck out if we got Devil Summoner 1 fully like a full ass 3D remake. Devil Summoner 1 would be amazing.
I could get behind that if they just
like imagine like
it's like a fresh game. Just called
like
Devil
those
Summoner,
environments, that music, that setting, like the whole game being voice acted. I think that would go hit really, really hard.
That'd be cool. It's hard to pick with remakes because a lot of stuff. If they do a remake, like I'm gonna assume they're gonna fit it into their modern like mold of like 4 people in a cool looking UI. I don't think that works for every game that's like old. I don't think it would be the same thing. I don't know. Devil Summoner, maybe. I don't know, like maybe Devil Survivor. I don't know. That'd be cool. Like a more modern like tactics game in full
See,
3D.
that's tricky though because like I feel like tactics games, like,
Tactica.
well, I mean, not even that. Like my worry with like a Devil Survivor remake would be, is the budget going to be there, or is it just going to look kind of cheap? Unless they ended up like oh my god, could you imagine like they licensed the Square Enix HD 2D engine, like do an HD 2D Devil Survivor? That would be fucking
I think that'd be
sick.
super cool. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think those would be good choices. Yeah.
Let's see here. We've got from Faulty Videos says, "How will the apocalypse affect the local trout population? Please advise."
Which one? Which
I'm thinking
apocalypse?
I'm thinking he means the Funko Fusion apocalypse of the new Funko video game just came out. We're on the precipice of that about to collapse the economy.
I think the trout population will be okay, unless they like throw all the Funko Pops in like the
What
river.
if upstream bass gets replaced by Funko Pops?
That'd be a shame.
Let's see. Let's see here. Another joke question we had. Dr. Bright says, "Any luck on escaping the Nakajima curse, or have you committed at this
Yeah.
point? Is it too late to ever change your profile picture?"
No, lately I haven't seen too much Nakajima. What's it I've been seeing lately? A lot of like mysticism, like the SMT2, like mysticism stuff, like the Jewish mythology. I keep seeing it like
Man,
everywhere.
can't stop
Like
seeing those SMT2 Jewish references everywhere.
it's all over the place. Like every game that I look at now seems to use like Kabbalah stuff. I don't know. It's like ever since I played that, I keep seeing it.
Uh,
It's a different curse.
last cursed YouTube question comes from RX Volta. Says, "Do you still have faith in Yamai?"
Um, yeah, I mean, why not?
It's a bold
Yeah,
stance. Thank you, Larry David. I
sure.
appreciate it for taking a side on that one. Um, last couple ones we've got from Twitter. Stracious or Stray Exus says, "If you had to pick one Megaton game to get a port and one to never get ported, what would it be?" So like it's going to be like your catch 22 of you get one, but you can't get the other. They did say to exclude no Majin Tensei, Last Bible, or Demi Kids since they would be easy exclusions.
I looked at this one earlier and I thought it was so hard. I was like, because you eliminate all those that are like most people think are like I guess like shittier, and it's like a game they should never port. So like they should just forget about it. That's like hard. Like I don't really know. It'd have to be something like oh, if they never ported Persona Q, like I wouldn't be that
Boo! What
upset.
the
Like
fuck? What the fuck? Out of all the games, you're fucking looking at,
what
yeah,
else would you
fucking
pick?
Judgment Pinball. Fucking pick anything. What do you mean? That's the first game you pick is
The phone
PQ.
games probably don't
Full
count
games
either.
count. You can give episode.
Because if Last
You
Bible
can do
doesn't
Aigis
count, then phone
first
games don't
mission.
count. I mean, I was thinking like they meant like
Real games.
mainline and like Persona. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, really know what I
Man,
would pick. That's
fucking
hard.
Persona
Like
Q slander over here.
that's the only thing I can think of is like,
All right, so
oh,
what?
that would
So
be so
Persona
bad.
Q dies, and then what's living in its place?
Just any
Yeah,
game to port,
yeah,
like
you get an
SMT
instant
one.
port.
That'd be cool. SMT one
I
or
cannot
SMT
believe
two.
you're gonna let fucking one of the best 3DS games die just for a fucking SNES RPG.
I guess you could just emulate like SMT one and two. So you could pick something like SMT four. Like it's a little bit harder, maybe. Like they could remake it so that you could play it
I'll
on
tell
one
you what,
screen
dude. I mean,
easier.
I've been on record. I said I didn't fucking want Persona 3 to get remade. SMT4 is such a game that I'm like, bro, that game does not need a remake. Like, I get it. It's a chunky
I don't
ass
know.
3DS game, and a lot of people want to play it. But I'm like, man, if that got announced, I'd be like, I'll play it. Like, I fucking love 4. I don't need that to get remade. Like, that game's fine as
Well, we
is.
said
Yeah,
port,
port.
right? So, well, it's not remaking it, just putting
It's
it on
true. People
Steam.
would fucking hate how ugly it looks, but they'll put up with it.
This is a tough
I would
question.
take a port. Give me a modern port legally of... Damn, this is tough. Give me a modern legal port of Jack Bros, and you can erase from history... I don't want to make a completely obvious one. You can erase...
It's so hard to say, like, I never want them to port this.
I know.
It's so tough.
You can erase Synchronicity.
Okay, I mean, if that counts,
Yeah.
I pick that.
And I only say that, like, I love that game. Like, that game introduced me to Ladybug, who does a bunch of a million games. They've done so many better games since then. Like, I'm fine losing it. Like, listen, if Atlus hates us enough to never officially put that out in English, that's on them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I bet someone like out there like wishes I did the opposite. Like, port Synchronicity killed Jack Bros.
Jack Bros with full like color would be
Well,
so fun.
I more like would just be like, I just want to see the market crash on copies of Jack Bros.
Yeah, that'd be sick too.
Let's see. Car Crash Carlos, I'm going to change your question a little bit just because we already talked about Raidou, but I want to ask, since we know it's an HD port, do you want to see a world, or do you think we'll ever see a world where a Raidou 3 could happen?
Well, since they pick this, maybe they're like doing like a setup to see like what people think about it. Maybe they'll make another one. That's what I started to think. Like, why else would they pick it? It could just be like a one-off. Like, maybe people will buy this, but maybe they're like trying to set up for like more of a franchise.
I would like to see Devil Summoner come back, even if it's not Raidou 3. I would like a new kind of Devil Summoner.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'd love that.
They should just commit to the bit Devil Summoner 3, Soul Hackers 3.
I'd like to see it. I'd play it.
Night Gamer says, "Have you collabed on a new Megaton project?" Sorry, my bad. My fucking 11:30 at night brain over here. Night Gamer says, "Y'all have to collab on a new Megaton project. You have been given the budget of Soul Hackers 2. What is your elevator pitch?" So we are at Atlus HQ. We've got at least $20 in Costco gift cards. What's our pitch to Atlus?
So it has to be fairly low budget. I don't know, like SMT Super Famicom, like mainline games, like Pixel Remaster or something.
Good
like, rip off
idea.
Final
Yeah,
Fantasy.
it'll be called Megaton Masterpiece.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
No, dude, they're already in. Like they're fucking Sega Super Game Hard On Boner just popped on. They're fucking there for it. I think actually that would be pretty cool. Like even if it was just like a bare bones HD port of the Pixel games to PCs and then eventually consoles, I bet you that they'd get behind that eventually.
It'd be super cool. I'd totally buy it on PC.
Second to last question, Shadow Shine 57 says, assuming the Raidou leaks are a remaster and not a new game, do you want to see Atlus make any new action RPGs under the Megaton umbrella? Bonus point, have you 100%ed any Megaton games / got all achievements, endings, etc.? Shadow Shine, I'm just going to say this, Persona 5 Strikers, I know a guy with at least 25 copies who would love to give you an action RPG.
Do you see them making any new action RPGs?
I could see it. I just don't think it'll be soon.
Yeah. It's like probably not like all the games they've done recently. Like I said, are like the 4-person
Very
party,
traditional.
cool UI
Yeah,
type game.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that it wasn't made by Atlus, Persona 5 Strikers is like the closest thing to Raidou we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah, so it might be. I would think it'd be a while before we saw something like that.
What about 100%ing? I've only done it with a couple of games. A couple of Megaton games. I've 100%ed a lot of games. I have 100%ed Nocturne, 4, not Apocalypse, Persona 4, not Golden, 5, sorry, SMT5, not P5, but P5R. And then I think that's it. Persona 3 Reload will be on my to-do list eventually. Oh, and if it counts, Dancing All Night, but that probably does not count.
I've probably done like one. And it's definitely Jack Brother because I've beaten it like 6 times.
You got the
every
secret
ending.
character. You got the pixie.
I did, yeah, I did it with the 3 Jack Brothers. I did it with Pixie, and I think I did it a couple more times. There was like I streamed it one time, and I was trying to like speed run it, and I think I beat it in like 20 minutes, which is like how long the game is anyway.
Do you remember when you used to stream?
No, because I never really did. Very rarely. That's why I can remember it because I've streamed like 5 times. That's probably it though. 100%.
Are there any
That's
ones
probably
you
it.
want to do? Like how my next one's probably going to be Reload, just because I want to get that platinum, and I think it'd be easier to get than Vengeance. Like what's one that you'd want to do or plan to do?
It's tough because I'm not normally like a replay super long games person. Maybe like I don't know. It's something I'd say like, oh, like I'd play Soul Hackers again, but there's only 2 endings anyway. If you mean like full compendium or something like that, maybe like Soul Hackers would be fun because it's
Oh
short
yeah, I
and I
forgot.
like that
Yeah,
game.
I've done
Yeah.
Soul Hackers and Soul Hackers 2. Those are so short that like it doesn't feel like a chore. Nocturne felt like a fucking chore. I wanted to uninstall that fucking game out of my life when I 100%ed that game.
Yeah, it's like if it's like over 50 hours, like that's tough, but under that I could probably do it. It's just Soul Hackers probably.
Let me see. Last question. We saved the best for last from Bigotry. The question the question everyone wants to ask, Marsh. YouTube runs ads on your videos and makes money. You should monetize and get a cut. Why do you hate money?
It's just become like a superstition thing. I used to do it for a real reason. The reason I used to do it is because if I made any money when I was in college, I would like get worse scholarships because I had income. But then I just never turned it on, and now it's kind of
You
like
gotta turn it on. Do it.
I don't know.
Do
I
it
just
for me.
don't like. I just
Do it
haven't
for
done it.
me. Just do it for me.
I'm thinking about Patreon.
Yeah,
I
Patreon's
like
a good
Patreon.
one. Now here's a question: would you do Patreon monthly? Because with Patreon you can do separate timelines of like you can do monthly or per project release. Because I know some people are like, all right, I want to kind of feel like I can do like I'm owed like I want to be owed money. Like for some channels who are like, hey, I work on these videos for a while, and I don't want you to have to just feel like you're paying me endlessly for it. So that's why some people do it like per project. But then you get into that weird spot of like, okay, well, do you want to support them constantly, or do you just want to be like, oh, hey, I liked the video and kind of treat it more like a tip jar or more like a support mechanism?
I would do monthly, and only like I wouldn't rely on it as like an actual like income source or something. But it's just sometimes people comment and say oh, like if you had one, like I'd donate to it. So I'd probably just like monthly, like if you donate like $1 or something, like I'd come up with some kind of gimmick. It wouldn't be like early videos. I don't want to do that. I don't
Can
want
we
to like
do
create
can we
some
do
kind of
feed
divide like
pics?
that. It would have to be something like that, like something like that I wouldn't give a shit if nobody saw
Bro,
it.
exclusive first look at Marsh's pinky toe.
It would be something like maybe like I want to do this for everybody too, like a collection video or like I don't know, something like that, like
If you
small
want
video.
exclusive access to watching Marsh and I play GoldenEye 64 for at least 20 minutes, patreon.com/MarshSMT.
It's tough to think of gimmicks because like I don't want a Discord either. No,
You know what's funny? Like, what's
I
always
don't
like
know.
funny is like, hold on, let me actually find some wood. I have heard so many horror stories of people who like had Discords and like, oh man, like I don't know, like it was fine for 2 weeks and then just all the Nazis found it. I don't know where I don't know where all these Nazis came from. But like
Yeah.
I really love that like our Discord is always just like, yeah, it's just like just people talking about games. That's it. That's it.
You might be like an exception to that
I think
rule.
it's called being extremely unpopular.
If I had something like that, it's just like the way my mind works, like I'd be thinking about it and like wanting to check it while I'm working and shit. It's just like too much. Like it'd wear on my mind. I'd be like, what's going on in this server that has my name on it?
That is kind of the funny thing. Like I'm very hands off with all of my stuff, even though I am the primary moderator for everything. Just in the sense of like
Yeah.
I've always told people, and like this always goes for like if you ever see anything kind of related, whether it be the Facebook group, um, not that people are ever shitheads in the Patreon, but like anything like the Discord, YouTube channel, or like whatever, people can always like let me know, and I'll always be really, really on it for it. But I've never felt like I've had to police it, which is always really wild, especially with the Facebook group, because like that thing's over like 13,000 people now, and the fact that that's 13 fucking random people on Facebook I don't have to worry about is kind of nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that you had a good experience with it. I've seen too many that are just bad, and I just don't want to
No,
do
for
it.
sure. And again, I think a lot of it is like how you run things, that like the kind of standards you have for it. Like a good example with Facebook that I think helps a lot is we turned this on I think back in like 2017 and have kept it on ever since. Every post gets manually approved. And I think because people
Yeah,
can't
nice.
spam that, um, it helps for those chances of like and I'm always the kind of person like listen, you all fucking survived this podcast. I do not give a shit if you go off topic. But the thing is always like, hey, if you want to like plug your game, go for it. Go plug your game. Just don't plug it like 3 times a week. Like if you want to like say, hey, I'm selling a bunch of games, go for it. Like even if like none of them are Atlus related, because yeah, someone will probably be interested in it. It's a bunch of like-minded people. Like that stuff is fine and that makes sense. And then like ironically, the stuff that I usually get asked about is very rarely am I kind of like, oh, hey, these two people are arguing. It'll be stuff like every that someone will be like, hey, can you make like a food channel in the Discord? That's it. Like like literally that's fucking it.
That's
Like
nice.
it's
Yeah.
very low stakes. Everyone's kind of cool with it. I wish I could be more active in it. Especially back like when like my job situation was a more fucking prevalent thing, but I mean, I'll even put this out there with it. The link to the Discord is always in every episode of the show. If you like stuff like this and want to kind of hang out with chill people, for the most part, the Discord's always welcome. People are also always able to. I feel like I'm very overly easy to find DM wise. I know some people like to kind of have that wall of separation, but I think because I make myself so easy to contact, people don't do it. Like it's almost that thing of like if it was harder to find me, maybe they would be
Right.
there. But it's like no,
Yeah.
yeah, you can pretty much DM me anytime, which leads to because it's such an open door policy, I almost get like no DMs.
Yeah. I get like emails every once in a while. That's all I really have open. I guess besides Twitter.
Or if you weren't tweeting out Persona 3 shitballs, maybe you'd get fucking more emails.
I probably would
Well,
if I had
I
nothing else. Yeah.
think at the very least you should do a Patreon. I think the Patreon thing is like it's the easiest of like no stress, no commitment. The hardest thing you got to think of, especially if you just want to make it easy, like that's why like we only have 2 tiers. It's literally like, do you want the littlest amount possible to donate? There you go. There's $1. Do you want $5? Cool. We'll say your name. That's it.
That's yeah, maybe like names at the end of the videos. That'd be
Oh
good
yeah, and
too.
yours is easy
Something
with it
simple
being a
like
video.
that.
You can just fucking throw it in a text folder and be like, "Perp, there you go."
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'm gonna do it pretty soon. Probably like I want to do it when I got to like 100,000 subscribers.
Too bad you lost at least like 90 doing that tweet earlier.
I could check and see
You
how
are
many
at
followers I lost.
three. You're at 3 responses, by the way. One of them is yours. 8 retweets and 128 likes.
See, Atlas doesn't think that's
That's true.
valuable.
You just
Apparently,
lost your review code for Metaphor because of that.
I wish they'd say that and be like the opposite of like they don't have to say like why they fired you, but they do say like why they didn't give me the code. Like this tweet sucked. Never do that
Oh my
again.
god. They'll be like, you can get a code, but you have to say Metaphor makes me not metaborn.
You just make your name a metaphor.
Oh my god. It's been a fucking day. All right. Well, hey, speaking of Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/SMTN and pay me more money than the unemployment company in Kansas has, because Jesus fucking Christ, your boy Spencer's broke. You know what the best birthday gift to get somebody, Marsh, is a subscription to patreon.com/SMTN for the low price of 500 pennies. You can get me to say your name on a weekly podcast about video games. Just
That's such a good price.
it's less than a gallon of gas, depending on where you live and what car you're in. Big shout outs though to all the Patreons. Dollar, penny, free tier. There is a free tier. I don't know why people do the free tier, but you can do the free tier. But also the $5 and up executive producers. Very much appreciate you guys. Keep the lights on. Keep the hosting fees paid. Big thanks to John Massey, Crazy Sloth, Michael Wilson, Budweiser Tall Cans, Carlos Hernandez, Cross Ren, Winnie, Jagingus, Gorosero, Solaire, Stephen Yip, and Patrick Dissart. Thank you all so much for keeping me out of the VTuber minds. I don't know how much longer I can go without being a VTuber, but I'm trying, and patreon.com/SMTN is the only way I know how. But Marsh, thank you for this horrendously long episode. Do you remember when I looked at my wife? I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, honey, this episode will not be, that,
be
long.
that long.
She's messaged me at least 3 times saying, how are you not done yet?
Because Raidou HD.
Yeah, honestly, you, out of all my friends that I regularly have on here, you and I go on the longest, but I think it's because we'll just go on a fucking tangent talking about vet bills for 30 minutes, and then that'll ruin half the episode.
There's always something in real life going on, and you have to contrast it with, like, Soul Hackers 2 physical copies or something.
It's dangerous. I get excited and I fear about if you and I finally get to make our dreams happen, Marsh, and we do a live podcast together. Like, when you're filling in, like, to, like, do a panel application, they're like, oh, do you think it'll be 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2? I would just say, make us the last one. Yeah, make us the last one of the night, and we'll just go on till literally everyone leaves. It'll just be like, we'll do like a fucking
shut the lights.
Yeah,
off
it'll be like an MST3K commentary track. You just don't even know when it ends.
To close up the entire convention center.
Bring your sleeping bags. We're doing the Martian Spencer SMTN live podcast marathon.
If you didn't say anything, I could probably go 4 or 5. I probably wouldn't say anything.
But now you're gonna make me like, what will Marsh what is Marsh when he finally reaches Spencer? I have to go. I really have to go.
If it wasn't midnight or almost 1 o'clock, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't really matter to me.
Well, Marsh, where do you want people to find you in your terrible shitballs tweets?
Yeah, you can see the shitballs tweet. Marsh SMT on Twitter. Marsh SMT on YouTube. It's not on there.
Not yet. Not yet.
See my backlogged Marsh SMT backlog too.
Dude, you haven't updated the backlog in a while.
Yeah, I updated 2 days ago. I put Castlevania on there, and it's it went viral, backlog viral.
Oh, you're right. I don't know why it showed me. It showed me your Sergeant Heroes one. That was an older one first.
Sergeant Heroes, yeah. I just did. That
I thought. Did you play another one before?
I did Sergeant Heroes. I did Castlevania before that, and I did XCOM before that.
Okay. Well, everybody, get on the backlog. Man, the backlog hype. That website's getting the visitors in the tens. It's got more concurrence than Nocturne on Steam.
Yeah, another one went backlog viral. Dead or Alive.
I need you to find a way to explain backlogged viral without making it sound like you're that image of damn, this tweet's doing numbers and it's got 10 likes.
Backlog viral is 30 likes, and if you go into the game, if you go onto the page for the game and you sort by most liked, I'm now at the top of.
Bro, I've got the highest reviewed. I've got the highest backlogged review for Dealfield Chronicles. No one's got me beat on that bad boy.
There's only one. There's 2 reviews above me on Castlevania. One has 54 likes. One has 57. It's It's such
Have
a
you
low
turned
bar.
into the Uwe Boll of backlogged yet?
I'm getting there. I have to do a few more.
Oh my god, alright. I gotta get the hell out of here, and by that I mean I'm gonna edit this fucking shit show for the rest of my life, but thank you everybody for listening. We will see you next week. We'll be 1 week closer to Metaphor, which fucking, what is that? Like, are we like, we've gotta be less than a month away, right? Metaphor is,
I think it's at the
oh my
11th.
god, yeah, we're 3 weeks away from Metaphor.
Metaphor. In like a year from Raidou. 6 months.
I hope they don't update Metaphor and upload the achievements to Persona 6. That'd be really awkward.
Oh, I'm sure they'll leak somehow.
Find a way. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
See you guys.